Hey, man, we got four just like that. Bam, the four horsemen of apocalypse.
We must be getting better, huh?
I know, man. Hey, I like that instant response. Oh, man. So, I'm going to ask you like I do every show. What'd you do today, Lee?
I got to play in the rain most of the morning. I had to go pick up 8 nukes at the apiary this morning, and it was storming whenever I woke up.
8 nukes.
Yep. So I loaded me a backpack, had 2 changes of clothes because I had to go to 2 different yards. Towels, that way when I got done at 1 yard, I could dry off in the truck, change, go to another yard, get wet again, and then change for the second time.
Right.
So I didn't even pull the camera out today. I took 1 picture of them in the back of the truck, and that's all I did.
But you got them installed?
Oh, yeah. I stopped by 1 yard, dropped 3 of them in the boxes, and then went to my new yard and dropped 5 more in.
They're not as flighty in the rain.
No. They're a little more pissy in the rain, though. My knuckle can attest to that because it's a little swollen right now.
You get stung again today?
It wasn't bad. Out of 8 nukes, I only took 1 sting.
I took 2 the other day and wasn't even messing with my bees, right on my neck. Just zap, zap. I was like, really?
Well, that's what I say. Some days I can walk all the way to the hive, opened up, look in it with nothing on, and they don't bother me. Other days I get 50 foot away from one, they just want to pop me.
Well, I did a little live today. I think it was like 7 minutes or something. It's real short. But the I mixed up some 1-to-1, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably just going to feed some nukes. But what I really wanted to see is I put out an open feed to see if the flow was on or not. And that chicken feeder sat out there for over 3 hours, not a bee on it, or just like 1 or 2, not like the normal just getting blasted with bees.
Yeah. Hey, you lady.
Yeah, the flow's on here in South Carolina too. They were pounding it today, so I'm happy with that. You know, with everything going on,
I'm going to drop that link in the chat there if anybody wants to join in.
Yeah, please do. So I'm working on something, and we talked about it a little bit today, but I'm working on getting us a co-op. North Idaho is just waking up. Hey, at least you don't have the problems Ian Stepler does where it's all his hives are floating down the river. Oh my God!
I was about ready to get Ian a GoFundMe account on that.
I know, right?
Man, I was feeling bad for him.
If I tell you what, if I didn't have to take care of my mother here, I would have been in a car to cross the border and just to give him a hand, man. Just, to be a set of hands. What do you need me to do? Here you go. Here's some hands. I'll give me a waiter. I'll go out there and grab some colonies and start stacking them up.
Hey there, Brian.
Oh, our flow is pounding. I put out an open feeder and it didn't even, bees weren't even touching it today. So now I feel like I can put some either Boardman feeders or something on my nukes and don't have to worry about the big colonies raping them. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, back to what we were talking about. Sorry. I'm working on a co-op. So I'm actually working with another YouTube page, and we're working on it. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the actual sale of the honey. Okay. That's one thing. So it'll be totally a setup price. And basically all you have to do is get with me and we'll get you on the list, and we're going to network honey sales. That's how we're going to start, networking honey sales. So if someone, and here's what I did. Okay, so for this other YouTube channel, it's got 11,000 subs, and I made a custom label for his site, right? And immediately when I showed this on his page, he loved it. He's buying a case of honey from me, so I did that as a gesture to help him out. And he's like, as soon as I got sent that, he had 14 emails about buying this honey. Now, the idea behind it is, if somebody's in Washington State and they want to buy honey, local honey, we just put this label that I'll share, right? I mean, you can put your own logo on the bottom. I just got my logo on there because it's coming from my apiary. But you put your logo on the bottom in the box, and you send this. They'll pay for shipping. The customer pays for shipping. They pay $10 a pound for the honey, and we might bump that up a little bit. But at any rate, he doesn't want any profit on it. I don't want any profit on your honey. The idea is to take the honey sales to the local level and help network that. And then I got to thinking, well, if we can do that as a team and collaborate, maybe we can come together and flex our little might with some of these beekeeping companies and negotiate the bulk discount, right? I mean, look at all these, just the people in here. Look at all the subs we have to just the people in here, right? Just that are watching this stream right now. We got 15 people. Let's say each of them have 1,000 or whatever, just average 1,000, right? Because some people have more, some people have less, some people have a few hundred. That's all fine. But if you're a smaller guy, this might help you sell your honey locally. And instead of paying shipping from South Carolina to Washington State, if we got a beekeeper that's in Washington State, they've slapped the label on it, and now the shipping's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea, is take local honey and market it to a bigger group, and to be able to move honey, help people find local honey through YouTube. And then I know a few people at a few beekeeping supply companies. I'll start trying to give calls to see if we can somehow negotiate just the bulk rate. It don't matter, right? So if I order 5 boxes and Lee orders 5 boxes and Dry Cut 5 boxes and Texas Beekeeper 5 boxes, next thing you know, we're ordering 25, 30, 50, 100 boxes at a time. Why can't we get the bulk discount all the time as a co-op, as compared to a normal individual, right?
Yeah, individual buying 1 or 2 boxes at a time.
So, and then there has to be a little bit of loyalty. When I say that, is if a company, let's say Better Bee, says, okay, yeah, we can do that for you. I don't know, but let's say Better Bee as an example, then you got to order from them. That's kind of how it works, right? You got to order from them so everybody can continue to get that discount. And that way it takes people like Man Lake. They really don't give a shit about your buying power if you're not buying 10,000 boxes or a pallet of boxes at a time, right? And if they won't, we got other ways to do it. We could just do a pool, right? I mean, we could do our own damn thing where we just make a list, and what people want, we put on the list. If it's something you don't need right now, you put it on the list, and then when we're ready to make that order, everybody pools their money together, and then we can save it like that. We'll figure it out, but to just have these beekeeping supply companies just run roughshod over the little guys, right? It's like they don't give a shit about us. There's many more little guys than there are big guys in the business. So if we can pool our little guy power, whether it's on YouTube or buying or selling, whatever, and make sure that everybody's getting a fair shake, then that's the way to go. Hell, maybe we could even have a co-op and get like a credit union thing, where we could get a credit union membership, because you got to be like a business to do that. So, there's really no limits to it, and there's nothing in it for me. It's not like I'm making money by doing a co-op. I'm saving money by doing a co-op.
Exactly.
That's the whole idea. So we could save as a group of farmers, which is what we are. We are farmers, bee farmers, whether we got one bee farm or 35 bee farms outside or, whatever. We need to be able to use that.
Like you say, I mean, whether it's Better Bee or Man Lake or Blythewood, I mean, contact them. We'll kind of work out some details and see what we can get agreed to or not.
Well, maybe we need to do I don't know. Maybe we need to do some kind of email list, right? We need to do some kind of email list to try to set it up to where these people are in this co-op. This is roughly the amount of money they spend a year, because we have to come with some power, right? Some power to them to say, look, if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, but Cayman hasn't organized a co-op. Cayman just says if you're not happy with one bee supplier, take your money to another bee supplier, right? That's kind of what he says. I'm trying not to sound like Cayman. If I do, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, it's from what I gather. I've never met him, but I understand he's a good guy and he sounds like a good guy. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, we have to do something. I know, right? A rancher. I am too. It's Walker Bee Ranch. So that makes me a rancher, right? A bee rancher.
Well, that's what I said. For mine, I got Kodiak Farm. I ain't no big farm. I got 1.5 acres where I'm at. But that's why I got other locations, other bee yards.
And then, look, I mean, everybody on here, pretty much on their honey, I bet you it says something farm or something, there's no reason. There's no reason why we can't do it. It just takes a little initiative and dedication, Yeah,
like you said, I mean, we'll get together a list of people. That way, when we do present, I guess, our arrangements are ideal to Better Bee or Man Lake, whoever it is we can talk to. We can say, look, we have this many people that's interested.
I bet you John at Hilco would be down for it. I bet you he would. So here's the question. Do we care who it is? There's nothing say we can't have multiple people that give us this discount, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing that says that. There's nothing that says that both Man Lake, Hilco, Better Bee, or all those people can't give a discount for the co-op. But, I mean, just, Lee, between you and me, we've spent 50 grand.
Oh, easily.
I mean, and
like I said, last time I looked the other day, plus today, I'm probably 37, 38K into it in the last 1.5 years.
And that doesn't include everybody else. I mean, we're talking probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment. Now, here's the benefit for them. If we're ordering from them, they're going to get a better discount from their supplier because they're selling more, right? So I think it'll work if you guys are on board. Matter of fact, I'll give it. I'm gonna post my email in the chat. You guys write it down. Send me an email that says RE co-op, subject line co-op, and that you're interested, and we'll start making a list. And that way we can see who's interested. Whoops, about gave you my wrong email.
Yeah, I'm like you, Richard, on that comment. Everything I buy from Better Bee, but that shipping's a killer right now.
Right, but then when you start figuring in the shipping, is it I mean, Man Lake will give you free shipping. Some people will give you free shipping, but you got to know it's added into the price of the equipment, right?
Well, that's what I've seen. I mean, it's a free shipping if you spend over $99, but if you look at the price of that place versus another one, theirs is going to be a little bit higher for the actual product because they're figuring that shipping in already.
And so we're gonna, I'll go to work for it. I mean, that's what that's what I'm doing. I'll do it. I'll try to help coordinate, and I'm sure Lee and whoever else would not be opposed to it, to helping out if they need to. But the thing is, we've got to stand together, because right now I feel like we're getting kind of run over. Oh, so I came up with a hack. Kinda. All right, so let's say you got your little farm here and you've got you a egg incubator and your honey starts to crystallize. Well, I took out the rotator in the egg rotator in my egg incubator and used it as a honey warmer to decrystallize some honey. So this was actually one of the jars that I had in there. And as you can see, the air is flowing now.
Liquid again.
It is liquided. So that's definitely something that we can work on.
Yeah, I got to keep a couple of jars around that is crystallized. I got one lady that's all that she wants to buy from me is crystallized honey. She said for her it's less of a mess. Instead of having to try to pour stuff and dripping everywhere, she uses it in her coffee. So she just takes a little spoonful of it
and then dissolves it in the coffee.
It'll automatically dissolve when it hits the coffee, but she ain't dripping nothing anywhere.
Yeah, I saw the DP. I saw that video. That was something. I almost wanted to jump on a plane or something if my passport wasn't expired at the moment. And here, we're going to put the link out if anybody wants to join in tonight. And we're just hanging out. I mean, I've got Bank Queen still. I'm still trying to, let me see. Hold on. No extraction equipment needed is a big plus for me. What did I miss? Oh, the flow hives. Yeah, I think the flow hives. I think the flow hives are good if you're only going to have one or two colonies, maybe. It's probably good, but the price of them. On one hand, you don't have to have the extraction equipment and all that. You still have to beekeep, but you don't have to have that extraction equipment. So that's a saved value for you. I don't know why my wife has to talk at the top of her lungs every time. I know y'all can hear her in the background. But you can? Okay, good. That's a good thing. But as usual, we drop the link, guys. You guys can join in at any time, and we'll add you to the stream, and we'd like to hang out with you.
Or gals.
Or gals, yeah. I'm sorry, I always say guys, but that's just a generic term.
Yeah, about that generic. That's what we used to.
And yeah, it's just, I also, guys, I've set up a member section on my YouTube channel. I've never done it before. I think it's under review by YouTube, but I need her. Hold on one second. I gotta give my wife her medicine.
DC, on that question there, I haven't done it myself personally, but I've seen some videos before and people talk about it. Put it in a refrigerator for up to a week or so, let it start crystallizing. Once it's crystallized, spoon it out into a dehydrator and just put it on like 125, a lower temp, and it will dehydrate, and then you can just break it up into like a sugar crystal form.
But isn't creamed honey the same as crystallized honey? It's just smaller crystals, right?
Well, basically, but it's still liquid to a point. It's still creamy. Dehydrated honey, you can actually break it down into like granulated sugar almost.
Oh, I got you. That's the so that is kind of what I don't even remember what I was talking about beforehand, but we talked about the honey. We talked about the co-op. Crush and strain. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of crush and strain. That's just my personal opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. I just feel like I'm always looking for comb. And if I crush it, then they have to rebuild it. So that's just the only drawback that I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of been just a busy week, with the queens. I sold 2 nukes yesterday, 3 or 4 queens, some little bit of honey. I mean, it's just been busy. It's that time of the year, right? And I went through all of my colonies today to kind of give a look to see where they're at working. Lee, I sent you that picture of that super with the nuke. Oh, you probably can't pull it up on your
not on this
on that computer. Damn. All right, let me see if I can. I think I sent it to somebody else. Let me see.
If everything happens on time and my new computer gets here early enough Tuesday, I think I'm going to take off work and try to get everything set up for our regular Tuesday night live.
All right, so let me see. StreamYard. So I bought these nukes a few weeks ago. You guys saw them. They had a lot of bees in there. And oh yeah, those meds were for my mother that's got Alzheimer's, James. Sorry. Not for my wife. My wife just gives it to her at night. And let me see. And this nuke was so many bees in there that I supered it like 2 days after I put it in a 10-frame box because the coverage was there. And they are working at such a feverish pace right now. It is ridiculous. Can you add that?
Yep. Bringing up. And
this was the super of brand new. I've only got 9 frames in there, so they draw fatter. But they're already on every single frame in that super working to draw it out and store nectar. So I've already under supered that with another box of 9 frames. So they are really, really going crazy right now.
Now, was that already drawn out comb or is it brand new?
No, that's brand new. That's the brand new stuff that I just bought this year. So I didn't use plastic frames before this year. I did use a little bit of plastic foundation in the previous years, but I never used straight plastic frames until this year. So that's a new thing for me. But yeah, they're going crazy out there. So I went through them all today to make sure, just double check that who needs room to start storing, because I don't want them to get honey bound and then swarm off on me, right? So just totally trying to keep that going. Look at Lee. I'll add you in, Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can bring this picture up. See
yeah. I got it up. I got it up there.
But this is the 8 nukes that I had in the truck this morning. And then I got one picture when I opened them. Let's see if I can get that to pull. So, I mean, it had a few bees in there. Nice little nukes.
It's not bad. Well, evidently the guy that I sold the nukes to didn't have any problems with it because he didn't call back. He didn't call me. Larimore, that's it. I mean, it depends on the strength of the swarm, right? They're going to produce some honey. I don't know if it's enough honey to be able to take anything off of. It just depends on how big they are, right?
Hey, Bob, I don't know if you recognize in the chat over there, we've gone international now. Philip Long.
He's in Ireland, right?
Yes, in Northern Ireland.
He's in the middle of the evening, right?
He says staying up late.
Well, then I guess it's morning. So should I do the the hokey top of the morning to you. Well, welcome to the chat. We appreciate you.
Oh,
and we usually do this on Sunday nights and Tuesday night for sure, but every other day is not really a scheduled thing. And
definitely Tuesdays. That's our regular schedule. Rest of the time, that's a bonus. More for us than for y'all.
Let me see. I'm seeing comments. See, now I just saw a bunch of comments, but no, not between the brood boxes, Kim. So the brood box, it's a single brood box, and I put a honey super on it. And then when they started working all that, I lifted that honey super up and put an empty honey super underneath it and set it back down. So now they have to go through an empty space to get to where they're working. So ideally, then they'll come down and start working that one after they're done with the top one. And then I'll lift that one up and do it again. Hopefully.
Whenever they go up to the one that they'd already been working on, they're traveling across that new one. So it's getting their scent, their pheromones in it. And it's something they're more used to. So once that top one is full, then they start drawing the new one. That's what they call under super.
Well, man, I'm surprised nobody wants to hop in tonight. What's going on?
I'm trying to scan through the comments here.
I posted again. 1:52 a.m. Woo.
Here's a comment from Larimore. Will this year's swarms produce honey, or do I just hope for drawing comb? Depending on how big the swarm was. You could have a chance if it's early enough in your flow that they could fill a box or two, but you want to make sure you leave enough for them for the summer dearth in the winter. If you have a small fall flow, that's going to help them even more. But generally with a swarm, your second year is going to be your best honey production.
Oh, looky here. Look, we peer pressured his ass in here.
Hey, what's going on, hillbillies?
Hey, what's up, brother? You doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Good.
Yeah, I went through my super nuke. No more wet queen cells.
Nice.
Not a lot of brood, but they all those wax foundation frames I put in, they're all drawn out except for two of them that were on the outside, didn't have anything on the back, so I flipped them. And I took the plastic one out because they started drawing wonky comb on it. That's what they do with plastic, in my experience.
I have, it depends on the colony for me. Either they draw it perfect,
right,
or they want to try to make a bridge comb from that plastic frame to the other frame next to it. And it's just like little.
Yeah, it's draw sideways.
But I think if we use Lee's technique, we won't get that. Do you still get that, Lee?
What's that?
When you roll the wax on the plastic foundation, even though it's already pre-waxed, do you still get wonky comb or?
I'd say you probably 1 out of 30 frames. I might get a little bit of funny comb on it, but for the most part, they draw it straight off the cell perfect. Now, if I don't wax it, even though it comes supposedly waxed, if that wax is older from, say, last year's stock sitting in the warehouse, they'll draw some crazy comb on that.
Because it dries out.
Well, I heard there's a trick to that too.
Yeah.
You can take take a hair dryer and run the hair dryer on there, and it'll refresh that comb. It'll like melt it a little bit, and that'll.
I can just set it outside.
Yeah, well, where we are, you set it out for a few seconds and it melts it down pretty good.
That's exactly it.
In there.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Randy, good to see you. But yeah, man, it's they're probably working feverishly where you're at too, right?
Yeah, privet's out, rhododendron. Of course, we've had wildflowers and blackberry. As a matter of fact, I saw some red blackberries today. So
we already getting a few little black ones on the bushes too, but majority of it's still red.
Okay, yeah, you're a little bit south of me there.
Yep.
Well, you know the good thing down here where we live.
Not too much.
Down here where we live, the road crews are kind of slack and they don't mow very good. So So I've got dandelions for miles. I've got red clover for miles, or crimson clover. And, we get the wild berries in all the ditches and on the sides of the roads and everything.
Yeah, so, well, it's policy in Texas that they don't mow the highways until after all the wildflowers are gone.
So just when it's tall grass, then they mow it down
to help out all the pollinators. Then,
well, it's because of the bluebonnets.
Oh, okay.
Bluebonnet is the state flower, and they grow along with the paintbrush and all.
But you're in Texas, right?
Right.
So I thought it'd be the yellow rose of Texas.
That's what I was about to say.
No, it's bluebonnet.
The bluebonnet. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm going to bring
Dirt Rooster in the chat.
Was that
Dirt Rooster Randy in the chat, or another one?
No, that's another Randy.
Okay.
Randy's Dirt Rooster gave me and Hillbilly Beekeeping a shout out today.
Yeah, I saw that.
At about 15 minutes in.
And he put some peppermints in that hive.
And he put peppermints in the hive. I actually re-upped some peppermints today. I'm starting to see a few of the beetles starting to infringe back. So I went back through when I was in the colonies and started putting them out there.
That's one thing I did forget to bring with me to put in the 8 new hives today was my peppermint. So I'm going to have to go back one day this week. I'm going to bring up another comment here from Larimore Farms also. He was asking about the first year swarm. It depends if you're wanting to do double brood chamber or a single brood management. If you do the single brood, you're likely to get more honey in your first year rather than them having to build out a full second box, say a deep box if you're running deeps.
Hey, you know what?
Run a single brood and then go with the medium super on top. They'll make more honey in the first year.
Hey, Ricky, I got a question for you if you can jump in. If you can't, I understand, but I got a horizontal hive question for you because a friend of mine is running horizontal hives and I do not run horizontal hives. So I got questions, sir. But it's been crazy. But what I did last year is I was after the flow, I was sitting there trying to just get my colonies as many bees as I could. So I was doubling up brood chambers, tripling up brood chambers, making that colony as big as I could, knowing that in the winter they're going to decrease in size. And then in the spring, I could take all my splits back out and multiply my colonies. So that's kind of how I did it. But yeah, no problem, Ricky. I'm sure we'll be here at least a few minutes. We just got started. We only been here half hour.
I was about to say, well, what time is it? 8 o'clock. I have to about 8:30, 8:45 tonight.
What?
I got a few things I got to get done. I still got to unload my vehicle from the farmer's market yesterday. I was lazy, left everything in my little SUV and took the truck.
Yeah, it'll be there tomorrow.
Well, last year, whenever I went and picked bees up, I got a little Nissan Rogue, a little small SUV. I threw 8 nukes in the back of it, so I was driving down the road with about 24 bees flying loose in the car with me. Yeah, I didn't really want to do that in the rain today and them being pissy, so I just put them in the back of the truck.
Here's a question. Since I've never had this problem before, Lee, when I know when I should put another super on, but I see some people going ahead and just putting 2 supers on right out of the gate.
It depends on how strong your flow is and how populated your brood box is. If you have a brood box that's 8, 9, 10 frames and you got a heavy flow going on, you could go ahead and throw 2 supers on.
Well, my thing is I just don't have
or a little medium flow. I would throw 1 on at a time. You don't want to give them too much room in any hive beetle takeover.
I just don't have drawn comb. That's my thing. Drawn super comb. Because I've already put it all out there.
Yeah.
So now
I think I've got 25 or 30 medium boxes of drawn comb already, and then I got some new ones here behind me and some more in my storage next door that's waxed, ready to go. Hey there, Bruce.
And yeah, hey Bruce. And so yeah, I mean it's crazy. I'm excited. I mean, It's kind of stupid. I don't know if it's stupid or not. Is it stupid that you buy nukes and then you sell nukes at the same time? That didn't make too much sense, did it?
Did you make a profit on it?
I made $400.
Made a lot of sense then.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
I got a quick question for you.
Delusional.
A comment that's in here, but do you smoke menthol or non-menthol?
Menthol.
You seen the new thing they're coming up with, huh?
Yeah, well, maybe that's time to quit. Of course, I told myself when they got to $1, I was going to quit, and I was going to quit when they got to $2.
Yeah.
Then I was going to quit if they hit $3, I'm quitting. Now they're at $5.50, and I'm still going.
Well, I can tell you when I was 10 years ago, when my son was 5-6 years old, I traveled for work. I went to Edmonton, Alberta, a few times, and a pack of Marlboros was almost $12.
Canadian, that's like $10 US, right?
No, it was almost $12 US on my card. Says I bought
Lord
two,
have mercy.
and it was $23.50 something.
They're $10 in New York right now. Daisy said.
I think they.
Yeah, well, Canada, New
750,
York,
70 here.
they're all socialists.
They're all socialist. But the funny, I mean, they must like it because they keep voting them in, right? I mean,
yeah, they like them. What can you say? You know, I'm in Texas. I'm fine.
Right. Texas could literally break away from the United States and be its own government. I mean, be its own country.
We have a bigger economy than Russia, France, England.
Y'all probably got a bigger army than Russia too, seeing as how they're having a hard time in their situation there.
Well, that's not the size of their army. It's their training and such.
Right.
They got plenty of equipment, but they can't get gasoline to attack. The farmers are stealing their tanks.
Hey, Greg. Good to see you, buddy. Greg from Nature's Image, y'all, in the chat. Everybody say hey to him.
Hey,
Brad's in there too, so I got another Louisiana boy with me.
I seen Brad up in there come rolling in. Hey, and I'm proud of you guys. I see all the content y'all are putting out. Y'all making me feel lazy. I'm just out there working bees and ain't filming nothing. I gotta start putting it out there.
I tried to film going through my nuke that I turned into a double deep, and it's busting. But I pushed the wrong button on my iPhone or something.
You hit the
record.
eject button?
I don't know what I did. If I did, I'd not do it again.
Hey,
Lee, I wanted to ask you something about you were talking about the I've got the two packages, they're busting right now. And so if I drill a hole in a honey super and put a medium on top, which I've got a bunch of medium boxes, that'd probably be the best bet to go. We're right in the middle of a flow, and instead of trying to get them to build another deep.
I mean, if it's a newer package and you want to try to get honey this year, I would go with a medium on top instead of putting a second brood box. Now, if you want to build population, that way you maybe do another split on them, go with the deep brood box, and then just split them, and then next season you'll be able to get honey. But if you want honey this year, I would go with a medium instead of a second brood.
Yeah, I got two double deeps and two single deeps.
Sarah, you gotta put the video out, Sarah. Put it out. It don't matter if it got away. That's part of the game.
That's it. You win some, you lose some.
Hey, I'm really 0 for 2 on my swarms this year. 2 swarm calls and one flew away before I got there, and the other one was matter of fact, I didn't give everybody an update on that abscond video. So here's the update. I put them in a pro nuke, the bees that I captured, and I brought them home. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to add a couple frames of brood and just make a nuke with those bees in there, right? Just to give them some extra bees and stuff and let them incorporate into the colony. And I came out 2 days later, and there was a ton of dead bees in the bottom of the box. And I believe that it was the bees that I got from the abscon because of the spraying that went on in that house prior to the people buying that house that called me out there. That's the only thing I can think it could have been. But you know, they didn't do so good. Not that one. So, well, Sarah, then I'm slack. I need to go check it out. I apologize.
I was about to say, I think I've seen her name come up in my feed earlier. I hadn't got to watch anything today.
Well, today I spent a lot of time outside at the bees and then mowing. And
I didn't get to watch anything yesterday either, really.
Wow, we got 40 people right now. We're getting rated.
Hey, we're doing good.
Wow.
I know. That's pretty good for a Sunday night, right? 40 people. We appreciate those.
Yeah, and you have competition on YouTube right now tonight. Pretty stiff competition.
Who?
The Trumpster's on. He's supposed to show up at 5.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
a bad habit I don't hardly watch TV.
Greg,
politics.
I think
Poly meaning many and ticks meaning small blood sucking creatures.
Yeah, you got that right. Ricky.
Yeah, I'm bringing Ricky in.
Hey, man.
Ricky, how you doing tonight?
All right, so I've got a unique situation.
All right.
I've got a friend of mine that I'm mentoring, kind of, sort of. I say that because he calls me with every question he's got, right? I actually was the one who shook his first bees out of a tree for him and let him take them. Well, he decided he wanted to go long hive, and his bees were doing really good. He had 15 frames covered up with bees, and the colony was packed out with honey. However, no queen, no brood, no queen cells, no larva, no eggs, nothing. They're just 15 frames of bees packing away honey. And he called me, he said, man, this colony is really mean. I don't know. I can't even go in my yard without getting attacked. and I said, well,
it's mean.
Yeah. So he said he wanted to get a couple of my queens, right? So he bought 3 queens, and I took them down to him, and I ended up, he said, I want to split these colonies. And so he had a second horizontal hive that we took two frames or 3 frames of food and moved them over with bees and whatnot. The problem, and put a queen in them immediately. So as soon as they had a queen, they were wanting to stay with them. But the problem is he has no brood or anything. So the cycle has been broken, right? He's got no lifespan coming in. And even with these new queens, he's not going to, well, once they get out, might take them a week to start laying if the colony even decides once she's released that they're going to keep her, right? So I told him, I said, hey, man, the next day he went and bought 2 nukes, and he was going to put them in a 3rd horizontal colony. I told him I would probably take, if he had enough frames of brood, I would probably take a frame of brood out of each one of those nukes and introduce them to his splits, so they would have a continuation going on there.
Yeah,
because I tried to tell him that it'll be at least 45 days, right? Because once she gets out, she's going to lay. It's going to take 21 days for that brood to hatch. Then for the first 2 weeks, none of those bees are going to fly out of the colony. They're going to stay there and nurse, right? So the life expectancy of a bee this time of year is 45 days. So I told him, after thinking about it, I said, man, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I think your colonies are doomed at this point.
Yeah, if he's not careful, they'll crash real quick, and you'll get hive beetles in there, and they'll just take that hive over because there's just not enough population to cover it. I mean, I'd even scale and take some of that comb out of that hive just so you don't lose it and get a whole lot smaller. And then, like you say, add the brood.
Well,
Put it in the freezer.
Once we made the split, I had him pull out. He took out probably 6 frames, and then added some drawn brood comb to the splits.
There you go.
Which left 6, but it didn't have brood in it. It was just brood comb, right? And then the first donor colony that had 15 frames, I had him pull 5 frames of honey out that he put in a nuke box to take inside, and he was going to come out and get 2 or 3 more out of there just to compress them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he listens this time. He's not the best listener all the time, and that's one of my aggravations.
Listen a lot, we kind of go on our own. We hey, he's suggesting this, but now I'm gonna go do my own thing. So, you learn that your mentor pretty much knows what he's talking about.
Well, the main thing I get frustrated. When I say get frustrated, I don't call him to give him my advice. He calls me to ask my advice. Right. So if I give you my advice, it was important enough for you to call me. You thought I knew what I was talking about, but not important enough for you to do it. And this goes all the way back to January when I was doing videos of me harvesting honey out of my colonies. And he called me, why are you pulling honey off of your colonies right now? Because don't they need that? Right. And I said, yeah, they need some honey, but they need room for that queen to lay to keep the colony going. Otherwise, we'll be catching them out of the trees here in a couple weeks. Right. And he just left his there. So he's got all honey, no bees. I mean, he's got bees, just no brood. It's a brood break, huge one.
Yeah. Big shout out to Nature's Image Farm, Greg. You're had a pleasure being with him. And I think Philip put a question down here. Ricky, have you tried flow frames in your horizontal hives? And yeah, I've got one that I use, and it just what I was talking about there was the queen jetted out in that hive and it got weak. I got hive beetles in it, and it basically destroyed that hive. It took me all season to get it back in shape. Queen started laying real hard, and then we had a cold snap, and the bees just would not move off the brood to get any honey, and they died. So, So far, that hive's looking really good this year. They have actually gotten into one of the flow frames, and I'm really excited about, hopefully hear about June showing this hive full of honey and just tapping that horizontal hive and draining out the honey.
I think the flow hive it's good if you're a backyard 1-2 colony guy, right? That's its market.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, unless you're Fred Dunn, then you might have 50 of them out there. I don't know, but I know he's got a few of them.
50 of them. They're very expensive. I'll tell you that right now. Even the frames are expensive.
He's only got maybe 2 or 3.
Oh, he's only got 2 or 3 of them.
He doesn't have that many hives.
Well, I can't say anything about the expense, though. I mean, honestly, because I went out and bought a new extractor, uncapping table, uncapping knife, a new bottling tank, and valve. So I could have bought 5 or 6 flow hives for that much.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm going to drop Ricky's link to his website here in the chat. Anybody want to go take a look at his hives?
Dirt Rooster was didn't Dirt Rooster give a shout out to him today?
He did a video at least a week ago, I know, with his dad, and
I saw that video.
I just watched it today. So.
Okay, yeah. Randy's great, and his dad's incredible, and we just like most beekeepers, we like to help people out, and Randy's got about everything, but his dad, I felt like this hive was perfect for him, and so far it has. And he wants to get his dad another hive, so we'll see what ideas he comes up with, and so we'll get to make another hive like maybe Greg's or something similar to that. So
I like how he told you how to design how they told you how to design your hive. But that March 14th, that would have been my dad's 95th birthday.
Wow.
It's like it's hard to believe it's been over 20 years now. So.
Randy has become kind of a regular on this show on Tuesday nights. He's always coming back, driving back in, and
he always at McDonald's.
He always or Arby's or Wendy's.
Yeah, Arby's.
He pops in. That's the first question we ask him. So, what are you eating tonight, Randy?
That's right.
We're gonna have to get him a gift card and send to him.
I asked him to get me some Wendy's chili, but he never got me any. So,
a Frosty. I'm partial to the Frosties.
Yeah, I like to dip my fries in the Frosty.
How far back are you on production right now?
We're back up till July, probably about July the 10th, I think. Right now, I can't keep up. So, but I like to build a good quality product, and we're small, so yeah, we're all the way up in July now.
Yeah. With that,
I mean, that's the out there. Started somewhere small and just build up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been doing. I mean, this year I don't have the resources, and starting out, you don't necessarily have the resources to be able to do everything you want to do.
Right.
But starting out, it's about taking that and rolling it. And sometimes you might roll a snake eyes, right? And you're playing craps. I mean, when you take all your honey money and roll it into queens, and then if you don't sell the queens, you got to do something with them.
That's right.
Otherwise, they're going to die.
Right.
And I went into a split today that I had put a brand new mated queen in the cage. Was in the cage, and in that nuke, they were taking care of her. I went out there today, checked on her, popped it. There was no bees on the cage anymore, and she was still in there. Opened it up, everybody in the cage was dead. So had to chuck that one out and put a new one in there and let them try again, right? So it just happens. There's no guarantees on anything.
No. I tell you what, I mean, I'm selling a lot of nukes and queens right now myself, and I mean, I didn't know there was that big of a business selling, queens and nukes, but man, there's a lot of people want them. And
well, send them down to me. Hell, I'll split them off. I had a guy drive an hour and 20 minutes to pick up a queen the other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think I would want to put them in the mail because I'm not big enough to make it good all the time. It's just because I'm not raising the queens myself. I'm buying the queens at a discounted rate for buying a bulk and then selling them at a little markup, basically just to be a resource here for people to come get them. And the Blythewood Bee Company has been giving my number out. When someone calls them for a queen, they say, hey, I know Bob's got some queens, give him a call. And then when people get here, they're like, oh, now that we know you're here, if we need a nuke or we need a queen, we'll give you a call.
Yeah. And word of mouth is great,
I don't have a problem going out to a nuke and pulling the queen out and selling it to somebody and letting them make another queen. And if they can't, I'll merge them in with one of my other colonies and, make some maneuvers. But
what's that old saying? Watch the nickels and dimes and the dollars will take care of themselves.
There you go.
Right.
Yep.
Hey, are you having any supply chain problems getting parts, latches, and such for your hives?
Oh, man, it's been so bad right now. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I've held up hives several times just not having the latches or the economy's bad right now. I mean, I'm paying extra for lumber, extra for latches and hinges and metal. It's bad right now. And, I don't like to raise my prices up, but sooner or later, if this keeps on, I'm going to have to do something.
That's what I'm doing. I'm working for a manufacturing company chasing down suppliers to try to get parts to keep their assembly line working.
Wow.
Which reminds me, I've got probably 50 lines or 60 lines to add to my spreadsheet that I need to go because I have to have it done by 6 o'clock in the morning. So
again, I'm small and here I am. I'm going to have to buy a huge load just to make sure that I don't have a supply issue, which I guess that's what everybody's having to do right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Greg, I'm about 30 minutes from them. And the number of people that have come out to my house to buy queens and bees and one guy was like, "Hey, you selling any of them boxes?" Nope, I'm not. Just for that reason, you can't. Not yet. However, after all the people that have been coming out here and said, "Man, I just wish we had somewhere closer that we didn't have to drive 30 miles that way and then turn around and drive 30 miles back." So it makes me. I'm going to start looking for a little spot. But then if I can't get the damn gear to sell, it don't make no difference where I'm at, right? So it's just one of those things. So, so I don't know. I've got the wheels are turning all the time. I'm just that guy. I've always been that guy. I'm not trying to get rich. I just
trying to get by.
Yeah. Well, I'm like a problem solver. If I see a problem, I won't rest till I figure out what I can do.
I'm OCD.
Yeah, what I can do. Oh, well, nobody's got queens. Nobody's got nukes. I mean, I was literally in Blythewood Bee Company, and a guy was in there shopping for equipment, and he asked him, did they have any nukes? And nope, he didn't. I said, well, where do you live at? And he told me the name of the town. I said, well, that's 10 minutes up the street from where I live. I'll sell you 2 nukes. And he came out Saturday morning at 6:30 in the morning to pick up his nukes.
Must be like me. I'm up at 4:30.
Oh, for sure, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, we'll get some Krispy Kremes and we'll do a short showing Brian missing out on the donuts.
I'll say you got to send it to Brian.
Yeah.
I know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, for me, if I'm making, like on a queen, if I'm making a few bucks, then I make a few bucks, and it's basically being recycled to buy more equipment, more queens or whatever. I bought 50 queens this week and I've got 12 left, I think.
Yeah. But those, you remember those 2 sets of hive boxes I told you I bought? There's 4 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be 2 deep, 2 medium. They're 1 deep and 3 medium.
Did they send them to you wrong?
Yeah, they've been in storage for 3 or 4 months because I picked them up for a really good price, and I'm sure that I ordered 2 deep and 2 medium. But they're made of cedar.
Well, do the bees, do they like the cedar?
Yeah.
Because, the funny thing is cedar is kind of designed to, I mean, not designed, but isn't that the thing that they used to make to keep bugs out of it, right? Keep bugs out of stuff?
No, they take to it fine.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my dad had, there was a big cedar tree that was huge. It was like, you couldn't put your arms around it. Take 3 men to put their arms around it. And there was a beehive in it when he was a boy. And
it still got one in it?
No,
Probably.
that tree disappeared because that was back in the 30s. That tree disappeared in the 70s. Somebody stole it. His cousin had the land.
Right.
And sorry, my laptop hinge is weak. And they didn't live there. And they came back to visit the place, and the stump was dug up. They took the stump. So
what they do?
It was about 8 feet in diameter.
Push the whole tree over and take everything? Just drag it off?
They dug the stump out. They dug it up. So, well, guys, I apologize.
That's Hillbilly Earl calling me.
Oh, okay. Tell him I said hi.
Hey, Earl.
Earl ain't watching us.
Hey, we're live, brother. Yeah, we're on live right now. We got Ricky on there and DP.
And I got to fly, man. I got to get this spreadsheet done, or it's going to be.
I don't know. We're on live right now. Come on in.
Nikki, I may need you to work on my spreadsheet for me.
Oh,
all right.
Sorry, man.
Lee said he can't stay that long, so
I could help you.
We'll see. We'll go as long as we can.
Have a good one, DP.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for coming in.
Y'all have a
Yep.
good one. God bless all of you.
All right.
You
Thanks,
too.
DP.
Okay,
All right,
bye
bye.
bye.
He said he didn't get a notification. That's because he unfollowed me. That's what it is.
He unfollowed both of us, huh?
Hey, thanks, Greg. Look at Greg with the super chat.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Greg, you're a good man, fella.
I actually set up that what's it called? The membership thing,
Like a
or
members area, members
subscription
page.
on YouTube. I don't know. I just followed the prompts. It said earn more with YouTube. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Worth a try.
Well, there's Earl.
There's Hillbilly.
See, Earl, if you would subscribe to my channel again after after blocking me, you might get these notifications.
Drop that link in there. Anybody else want to join in?
Yeah, come on in. We're just hanging out.
I needed also let you know too. I talked to Ricky the other day. The drawing that I did on my 100 subscriber giveaway. The person who had won at the time is not in the position right now and don't have the time and different stuff to go with the horizontal hive. So probably this Tuesday on our regular scheduled live stream, I'm going to do another drawing on the items that Ricky had put in, which is 3 items, but you have a choice of one. It's either a $25 gift card, $50 off of a horizontal hive under the value of $600, or if it's over $600, you get $100 off.
I want the $601 hive, sir.
Yeah, Bob will hook you up, sir.
So I'm going to work, and we'll do that drawing again this Tuesday night.
Hey, look at there.
We got
Hey,
Brian.
Ronnie, I appreciate that, man. I'm
going to work and we'll do that drawing again this Tuesday night.
Greg was good.
Hey, look at there.
We got Brian.
Hold on, I got to mute your mic. You got to mute your YouTube there, Cajun.
What were you saying now, Ricky? I couldn't hear you on the loop.
Brian had mentioned about that horizontal hive that I'd made for Greg, and it did turn out really good. Greg had some great ideas, his input, and for me, being a backyard beekeeper, I'm gonna build one of them for myself. I can do so many things with it here on the farm, and just some great ideas. And it's back to talking about Dirt Rooster telling me how to build one. It does make a difference. People saying, "Hey, try this and do this," and man, we can make these horizontal hives into something great. That fits each beekeeper, whatever what's going on their farm or bee yard. And that's the fun thing about beekeeping is playing with stuff.
Can you build me a horizontal chicken coop?
I could. You might not want to pay for that lumber right now. I'll tell you that.
I know that's right.
I think it'd be cheaper building a metal frame than wood.
Hey, that 1/4-inch siding I put on, it might be 1/4 or 5/8. I don't know. It's that siding I put around my honey house. That was $43 a sheet. And someone was telling me the other day when he came to pick up 2 queens that he said he used to be able to buy that for like $8 a sheet.
That's right.
So, yeah, that's Brian. That's why I could do up 4K videos, but I don't have 3 days to sit there and wait for it to upload. By the time it's uploaded and processed in HD by YouTube, it's out of date.
Yeah. Just about every camera I have does 4K, but I record everything in 1080. Just because, the size of uploading, editing, rendering, and then the actual storage.
And most people's computers don't even watch 4K anyway if they're on their computer or iPad or phone.
Yeah.
So,
which the new computer will do more than 4K for me.
Today, how many hives do you have? How many hives are you running?
Who, Lee or me?
I couldn't hear the first part. Me or Bob?
Cajun.
Cajun, Brett.
I got about 26.
You need to step it up, sir. Step it up.
Hey, I finally hit 30 today. I was at 22 and I got 8 nukes this morning.
Wow.
I got to count mine every time I go to the bee yard because by the time I go out there and sell some and merge some and split them back again and all kinds of craziness. What are you using, Brad, for? I see you just using a mason jar on a Pro Nuke, just flipping it upside down.
Yeah, yeah. On the mace, on the Pro Nukes, I just flip it upside down because I tried the little bottles and they just fall off. And the jar turned upside down. I don't have no problem with them falling off. So I just cut they got slits in the Pro Nuke that you can slice just so that the syrup goes through.
Right.
I took a hot iron. I used to have a branding iron for goats that dehorn them. Well, I took it and I just melted a circle straight out of that Pro Nuke, and I just flipped that jar on top, and the bees come up through that hole all up underneath that jar, and they just suck it out. So there's nothing really draining. The way they had it designed, if you put a bottle upside down, it had to drain through some slits in that Pro Nuke. And so some of it would drip on the ground, and then bees would come around and, robbers if it was at the wrong time of the year, because the way it's designed, it don't drip in the hive, it drips on the outside the hive.
On that vent, right? The little vent piece.
Yeah, it drips on that vent. So you get a lot of bees. So if you're gonna use that, you need to close that side of the Pro Nuke up and let them migrate through the other side.
Well,
them robber bees will come in because it brings them right to the entrance. Right. So you don't want to have them going in and out right there.
I kind of am agreeing with Greg after this is the first time I've had Pro Nukes after I got those nukes a few weeks ago. And so I've been trying to reuse them like you are. And
yeah,
man, they were bearding something fierce on that thing yesterday. It was the first colony I had to beard was a Pro Nuke because
you don't want to keep them in the sun. If they packed,
right,
it's that plastic's gonna heat up, and so I just put them where they have sun in the morning, and then from noon to the rest of the day they're in the shade.
So maybe I've got enough boxes like nuke boxes. I'll probably just go and switch them all over to wooden nuke boxes right now, and then if somebody buys a nuke, I'll put them back in the Pro Nuke and let them go that way.
Well, the thing that I use them mostly for is like I got a couple of hives in my brother's house. I think it's like 4 hives. And when I go and take some brood out of them hives, because I mostly just use them for like resource.
Right.
And I transfer them back and forth. It's so easy with that Pro Nuke because you just
it's light.
And you slap those doors shut, and you can put them inside your cab of your truck. The bees ain't coming out.
Right. Oh, he's reading it right now. I see him reading your message, Brian.
Thank you. Reflection in his glasses.
We all got your email and contact information now out of Ricky's glasses.
Freeze frame.
I think Lee had something that Brian had made. He's 3D printing these little hive kits, and man, I wanted one really bad. I asked
Say that again.
Yeah, just like it right there. That's what I want. That's a great training purpose right there. Yeah, those are awesome.
I'm gonna carry them with me I got to do a class for the 4th grade this week, so I'm carrying those with me. I got that and top bar.
Yeah, I want a horizontal hive. I've asked him if he can build me a horizontal hive. Yeah, look.
Well, basically it's the same hive in a rectangle.
There you go.
So.
He should have made some little bees.
Yeah, a bee conference, and I really needed I
got the little bees.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Got the little bees in the bag.
And comb. I got honeycomb too. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So if you guys don't know, hey, Brian, put your Etsy link in there in the chat. But yeah, man, it's turning out to be a very, very busy season so far. I don't think I'm gonna at this point. I don't feel like I'm gonna have the honey that I thought I was gonna have this year, just because of me, not because of the bees, but because of me.
Too many splits.
Well, those early splits set me back. Hey, good to see you. Okay, so now we know there's young ears. We gotta keep it G. So the I made those early splits that set my colonies back, and I've split, and I've done a lot of splits. As you can tell, I went from 12 to 34. So I've got
Well, why don't you if you know exactly when your flow is gonna hit, like
we're in now.
Oh, you're in it now?
Yeah, we're in it now. I put out a chicken feeder to open feed the bees. They didn't even touch it.
Well, is that your main flow, or is it just like the flow at the beginning? Because you could have taken brood or nurse bees and pack them in some hives, and in 2 weeks they're gonna start. 2 or 3 weeks they're gonna start being your foragers,
right?
And once they relate it to that one hive, you can get like one hive building up a lot of honey. Because if you don't have enough bees in a hive, they don't really build up; they just mostly brood up.
Right.
They don't go after too much honey. They'll bring in honey, but it's for making brood to try to build up the colony.
Yeah.
If you get enough bees in a colony, then they go into honey making mode.
I think I'll have more. Well, I know I'll have more than I did last year, but not as much as my mind was telling me I was going to make, when I went and ordered a 30 frame extractor and all this other stuff. So, hey, I'll have enough frames to at least run it one time, If
everything goes right, I'm shooting for a minimum of 1,000 pounds this year, but I'm hoping for about 1,500.
Well, I bought the damn bottling tank and I haven't even unboxed it. I haven't done an unboxing video. I haven't put the air valve on it. I haven't done any of that. It's just sitting. I've got 2 sawhorses set close together with the box sitting on top of them. I haven't messed with it. I've been too busy doing other things.
What you need to do is buy you about 3 or 4 of those horizontal hives and use that as your
honey
your
production
makers. No, your nuke makers.
Yeah, you split. Right. Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm doing. Any splits that I take off, I'm putting into the horizontal hive.
Well, see, that's my thing now.
Next year I can put them into 10 frame.
The nukes that I have, that's going to be my split colonies. Now, the nukes that I have, the 5 or 6 nukes I've got set up, they're the ones I'm going to start taking the splits off of and leave the bigger colonies alone. I actually have a nuke that's stronger than one of my 10 frame colonies that kind of was just dwindling and dwindling. That wouldn't take a queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they finally took a queen. They got a queen in their land, but now the bee population is so low that they're going to have to build back up. So maybe I can catch the late season flow or the late year flow, fall flow, if the goldenrod plays games with us this year and lets us do something.
When you say non-existent last year for us.
When you say wouldn't take a queen, they just wouldn't accept one, or?
Well, you remember the video that I put out about that monster colony that was really pissy that I broke it all the way down and took the queen out and split her off to another colony, made a nuke out of her, and then she swarmed and I caught her and then she ended up getting killed. So I do have that nucleus, but they've been requeened. And then every time I would put eggs in there early to let them try to make a queen cell or put a queen cell in there, they would rip them down, and there was no queen in there, no brood, no larvae.
I had the same problem in one of my pro nukes. The queen swarmed. I had a swarm cell that I had got out of one of my big hives, put her like 3 frames of bees. She hatched out, and that's the one that I have on video that swarmed out. Okay, so I took a fresh set of eggs out of another because half the bees stayed in the pro nuke. Right. So I took some more eggs just so that they wouldn't go worker lay, whatever you call it,
laying worker.
I put some eggs in that hive, and they would not make a cell. I mean, they capped them over just like they were going to make brood, but didn't draw a cell out. And they polished up some cells on the other side of the frame and on another frame, expecting a queen to come back, I guess, but one never came back. I didn't understand it. I guess they were in high hopes of a queen coming back, but that was only one swarm cell in that hive, and she left. And
well,
I caught her in another nuke, but I don't know what they're expecting.
Yeah, I let that colony basically retard 2 colonies. Does that make sense? Slow them down, not retard as in well, they might be retarded bees. I don't know, but the thing is that the Demaray colony, which they're very productive, right? And so when I did the Demaray split, I was taking queen cells out of there, like whole frames that had queen cells and brood and everything on them, and moving it to that colony. And they would let the queen hatch out, and then she would either not come back or she would get killed. And I mean, every one of them, you could see where it was hatched. And, it wasn't happening. And then I introduced one of these mated queens to them, and they took to her, and she's in there running around and laying. They've got eggs and larvae now and a little bit of cap brood. So they're starting to come back. And I took I love Bob's face when he tries to read. You know why? I don't have my glasses on. If I had these on, I would be able to read easier. I wouldn't be going, I wouldn't be looking all Chinese, looking at the screen. But all right, so they finally did take the queen, and they're getting on with it. And then I had another colony that was my only colony that had a screen bottom board, and they just started going down for whatever reason and tried to replace the queen, and were unsuccessful. So I took a nuke that had a queen in it, took the whole nuke and just dropped it in there. So the nuke there was more bees in my nuke than there was in the colony. And then now they're getting going, but they're just, it's slow, slow going, which I was kind of counting on that one because it overwintered pretty good, but I guess the queen, they didn't like her or whatever, and started making plans on their own. All right, so
on Philip's question here, he said he split a hive 2 weeks ago due to having swarm cells in it, and don't know which hive the queen went into. He's wanting to check tomorrow. What should he be looking for, or what should he see?
Well,
should see eggs in one of the hives, whichever one the queen's in. The one that don't have the queen, she's going to have another week or so before she goes out and mates and comes back, and then it'll start laying. So if you see eggs in there, that's the one where your queen is. I don't know if you have her marked.
Well,
it depends how long, if his swarm cells, how long they've been capped.
Right.
If he made the splits and they were just fixing to hatch out, 2 weeks, she could be already back and laying if she hatched out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they were at the point of hatching, yeah.
But for 2 weeks, if the old queen was in the hive, she should have capped brood.
I say capped brood then.
Yeah.
As long as you got the queen in the cells in different colonies, right? As long as you didn't make a split and leave the queen and the cells in there, because
if the swarm cell's still in there, there's a good chance she could even still swarm with half the bees.
Mm.
Yeah. And then you're in a pickle because you got a split that has no queen, and you have a colony that just has queen cells in it, or maybe a virgin.
Yeah, I just had that happen here, and it's not fun.
Mm-hmm. Then you'd have to wait for one of them to get mated, start laying eggs, and then move eggs into the other hive, and then both of them's behind.
Yep.
And it really sucks when you're making a split and you don't mean to take the queen and you shake her into a split, and the colony that you think is strong, now you just set them back because a month and a half, because they got to raise a queen and she's got to go out and mate and come back. So I've done that. So, and I don't mark my queens, so that's partially the reason, right? You don't always see them, but
yeah. I was marking mine the other day, but I was marking them with the wrong color, so I just mark them to see them.
Right.
Because them swarm cells that I hatched out and put in those mating nukes, the queens are coming out black, and they are so hard to see in when you got a lot of bees and a little bitty nuke. But
yeah, they're jammed
so
in
I
there.
mark them when I find them out. If I have a pin of any color, I just mark them so I can find them.
Yeah. I try to make it a habit, and it don't always happen. But whenever I go to the yard, I bring this year's color marker with me, just in case I go through and see a queen in there that's not marked. Hey, they may have superseded. I'll go ahead and mark her. But on the front of my hives, I have thumbtacks I get from Office Depot. They come in an assorted pack, and they're the 5 colors you need: the white, red, blue, yellow, green. Anyway, I separate them all, and I put a thumbtack on the front of the hive with what color queen should be in there. That way, just walking up to the hive, I know what color I'm hoping to see.
Most of the time, when I do my inspection, I don't even look for the queen. If I see eggs, she's been in there in the last day, I put it back together and done, you know. However, with that being said, if I go in there and don't see no eggs anywhere, like this last Wednesday, I went through and re-queened them. If I didn't see eggs in there, getting the queen, buddy. And so far working out. So far. Let me see. Trying to catch up with the chat.
Hey Earl, I see Earl's chatting.
Yep. Yeah, them darker queens, they're usually a little bit harder to see. I mean, a lot of my bees, I have Italians, or I'd say mainly Italians, so a lot of them's a light color. So I did have a tiger stripe here a while back that I found, and she was fairly easy to find.
He's got coon-ass bees. You don't know what they are. They're the Louisiana Cajun bees down there.
It's a Heinz 57.
Mine are just mixed. They're a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, the apiary I get them from, I mean, they're supposedly hygienic Italian queens, but once I get them here, some of them has been unmated, and then I've made some myself. So once they go out and mate, feral bees or whatever, I don't know what they are. They're Heinz 57. They're mixed with a little everything.
Yeah, because the queen that I pulled all these swarm cells from was a big old golden butt queen. I mean, she's so easy to see in the hive, and they come back and all of them hatch out. They're black. I'm like, who's your daddy?
Right.
Because I know who your mama is, but I don't know who your daddy is.
All right. So what you guys is feeling? Speaking of let's go down the genetics road a little bit. So my thought was, I know where I got my original bees, right? So I didn't originally, my thought was I'll just keep making splits off of these colonies, right? But then it was like, well, my genetics will only have that one strain in it. So like every year I try to get either a couple nukes or requeen a couple new queens just to keep the genetics changing in the yard. I mean, do you guys have a plan for that, or is there
if I make any queens of my own, I'm hoping to graft or just do the Nicot system off any of the queens that I guess are lower on the swarm scale, that are not as swarmy. That way I can lower my swarm issues. But gentleness to me would help too.
Hey,
but if they ain't gentle, I could put a suit on.
Being a beekeeper will help you stop swarming too. If you actually
yeah. If you get time off of work, that helps with the swarming issue also.
If you actually manipulate the colony and give them room, they may stay in the house a little longer.
Working 712s and 717s didn't help me none.
I'm just
I watched Bob Benny. He put out a video that explained about to me, it was kind of like how you keep your genetics or keep the bees that you want, because like I am or anyone else, if you have other bees around you, you can buy one type of bee, but when she goes out and mate, you don't know who she's mating with, so you don't know what kind of queens you're going to get back. Yeah. He makes his bee
unless you do an AI.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he has his mating yard in the center of 3 or 4 other yards, anywhere from 2 to 3 miles away. because the queen, it don't matter if you raise drones in your yard. He said that the drones stay within a certain range of where they were hatched, but the queens will fly beyond the drone's limit to keep from inbreeding. So you're not actually breeding with your drones when a queen leaves and you got only one apiary. You're not breeding with those drones. You're breeding with drones from the next apiary that might be 2 or 3 miles down the road, because he says the queens will always outfly the drones out of the same apiary to prevent inbreeding.
Yeah.
Now,
So you're saying her milkshake brings all the drones to the yard?
her what? I didn't hear you.
I don't know if it needs to be repeated. No, you remember that song? You may not know it, but that my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Oh yeah.
So her milkshake brings all the drones to the yard.
We got up here in the mountains. We got several beekeepers around us, and they just don't treat. And I tell you what, they've got some really good stock for Varroa because I see most of the time really low mite counts in most of my bees up here in the mountains. And, we're kind of combined a little bit in this area, so that's a good thing. But we just have mutts. When they get out there, you just turn into mutts. But sometimes that's the best bees you can get. As long as they're friendly, I'll take them.
That's my mentor. He on his videos he talks about how gentle his bees are, right? And they are in a 5-frame nuke. They're very gentle. When they get to 20, 30 frames of bees, the 3 most pissy colonies I had all were white mark queens I got from him. So I was like, okay. So
now as far as breeding outside of my local yard here at my home, my number 1 yard, the apiary that I get all of my bees and everything from, they're about 6 miles from me. But they do have a small out yard by the crow flies, probably less than 3/4 of a mile from me. So I'm sure any of my queens that I make myself would probably be flying there for mating.
Well, so far this year, the queens I made have all been dragonfly food, I think, or because they are not returning.
Well, I made 2 splits this year into the horizontal hive. One of the queens returned. She's mated and laying up a storm. I mean, she is solid. The split right next to her that I made, they didn't get a queen back. They had 2 cells in there. They were both opened up, but no queen in it. So I added another frame that had a queen cell on it, and no luck yet. But the dragonflies have started coming out here pretty bad.
Dennis
we haven't seen any yet around here, but in the middle of the summer, they're everywhere. They're in the sky like mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So when it gets to July, you have a poor chance of getting queens back.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say. As far as like you say, July, August here with the dragonflies, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You don't want to get rid of them because they eat all the mosquitoes. But they also like eating your queens and any of the other
mosquitoes
around here flying out.
That's our state bird, the mosquito in South Carolina.
You might as well say ours is, but as many as we have down here in the swamp areas.
Also, another thing Bob Bennett was doing in his out yards that surround his mating yard, every one of his hives had a drone comb in his hive, so that he was making the drones that he wanted in every hive. He wasn't using it for mite control. He said he was using it for just producing drones. And that way he
drones for better.
That way he overloaded his area within them 4 apiaries with all his bees so he had a better chance of getting his bees mated back to the bees that he wanted.
I thought about starting to do that here in the early spring whenever they're first starting to build up. Drop 1 or 2 drone frames in a couple of my hives, or 1 in each, 1 frame, but say in each yard, maybe 2 of my hives, put a drone frame in, just kind of help that area out.
I've got some green frames and haven't used not one of them. I haven't put them in.
Me neither.
But I put in enough, in my stupidity, I put enough honeycomb into the brood box where they just lay into the honeycomb and make drone brood out of it.
Yeah, I think Greg said that he went down to Bob's place and he brought back frames of drones to put in his apiary because he wanted his bee stock in his apiary, and that's all he wanted was the drones. He didn't want queens. He wanted drones.
Right. To mate with the queens he's got already. I need to start doing grafting. I'm almost feeling like it's getting a little, I hate to say too late, but around here. But if I wasn't paying for them, I would have made a bunch more money on my queens. That's for sure. And now I got to figure out, I still got at least 10 to 12 queens sitting out there in my bank that I need to either sell or find them a home real quick. So I'll probably be taking
that's why you need that horizontal hive so you can make you some more splits.
Yeah, have you
y'all trying to make me give Ricky this money right here?
You gotta keep flipping it.
Yeah, but if I flip this into a horizontal hive, then I've got nothing left to flip.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
how many nukes can you make yourself then instead of having to buy the nuke?
You could be flipping those queens into nukes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. See there? God, you guys
They're
are
working on you, Bob.
But huh?
I said they're working on you.
I know, but see, I can't get it before July and the season will be over, and then it won't do me any good this year unless I'm making October queens. And
you overwinter you overwinter them poor queens and then you just requeen them come the first of the year, and then you just sell them with brand new queens. But at least you'll have you some bees if you because I had mated some queens in August, and man, they came back when they laid. It was spotty. You can tell they wasn't well mated. They would lay some worker brood, but then they would have the little drone brood that would just make the little bubble out. It wasn't in drone comb, but they were actually laying, unfertilized eggs, and it makes a little taller brood cell.
Right.
So at the first chance I had, I just requeened them. They kept enough bees over the wintertime, to just keep the little hive alive. And then you just requeen them, and the new queen you don't have to steal bees from the other colonies.
Right. Well, yeah, that's where I'm at now. Just robbing them. But I got nukes made now, so I'm gonna hopefully give them a good week or two to start.
You don't have any 2 framers or 3 framers?
Here's the thing. I went to my mentors. We routed out. We used the router and routed slots to take a 10 frame box and make it into 3 3-framers. Mm-hmm. However, I've got the divider board that I'm still riding in my truck for a week that I haven't done that yet to cut the divider boards. And I have to take the bottom boards and put a piece of 3/4 to lift it up, right, to do everything with. But I've got the stuff to do it. I just have not done it yet.
Because when you're holding queens like that, you could have them working for you.
Right.
You got them out in the break room. They're not doing nothing. They're just sitting around the table getting fed. Put them in some 2 framers. Even if they each lay you 1 frame of brood and you sell one, and you take that frame of brood and put it with the other queen, and then you sell that one, you take that one, move it over to the others. And after a while, you're left with a whole hive of bees, and you done sold all your queens.
Right.
Because it don't take very many bees right now that it's warm
to keep the brood. Right. So you heard what Brad said. He wants the next one off the production line. See, he's selling me on it. Where's yours? You got yours yet?
I just got me 2 Apamate hives. I'm kind of broke right now.
Yeah, me too. I got no job. So
you see that comment down there, Bob?
Yeah, I see it. That's the man. I want one.
And we ain't selling honey like you, so I'm dry of honey right now.
Yeah,
I gave all my honey to my relatives.
I'm decrystallizing honey in my chicken incubator, my egg incubator. So go figure on that one. but it works.
I was about to say,
It
as
does
long as it works.
And but yeah, we're I want one. I just, for me, not having an income coming in, it's hard for me to say, here's $1,000. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not that I don't want. I would pull the trigger in a minute, as y'all can tell from my other purchases. But right now I gotta extract honey. And matter of fact, if you're in the South Carolina area and you don't have an extractor or a good one, and you've got lots of honey, we can work a deal out where you can bring your boxes to my house and we'll extract it in my honey room, and you just bring your buckets and I'll just take a split off your honey.
That's pretty good.
It's what you need right here, Bob.
People will do that.
We're May the 1st now.
That's pretty.
And I've already got 2 full boxes capped like this just on one hive.
That'd be in my bottling tank already.
And then I've got several other hives that's already got capped honey in it. So
what would stop you from taking that whole super off and putting an empty super on there and just extracting that honey out? Other than having to clean the damn equipment. That's the worst part.
Procrastination.
And that's another thing I didn't think about. I'm going to have to do a crap ton of cleaning in that room, and I've got no water going to that room. I've got I can't get the extractor out through the doors. It's not like my little 4-framer, 8-framer that I could take out there and just set out in the yard and let the bees do their work on it.
Depending on your valve on the front of it, mine, it has a little plastic gate valve that you can raise and lower to let your honey out. But right. I can pop that little gate off. You just unscrew it, pop the gate off, and it has another attachment that goes on it. You can put the clear flex hose on the front. I can run it out my door, spray it out, and then all the water that's draining out is going out the door.
But you know what I got? You know what I got?
You should be able to get that fitting for the front of it.
But I got the air valve.
No, I'm talking about for your extraction tank.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When you clean that out.
Yeah, that would be the big. Well, I can fit that through the door to get it out, but I can't fit the extractor out, and I can't fit the. Well, I could do the bottling tank, but yeah. So, real problems here, people. Real problems. You know,
well, you just keep selling bees and queens and nukes. You won't have to worry about having any honey.
Yeah, it's true. I'll just run myself out of business. Well, the queens, I bought 25 queens on Wednesday, and between what my mentor got from me and the other guys got from me and what I used on my own colonies, I had all that money back and no queens. So I went back Friday and got another 25 queens and sold. Well, okay, so here's the deal. When you buy 25 queens, they give you a bonus queen. They give you 26. An insurance queen, if you will. And I took those 2 free queens, and that's what I put in my nukes that I made. So those nukes cost me the bees and a free queen.
How did you know it was the free ones you put in the nuke and not the ones you paid for?
Well, yeah, you know, they had my brand on them.
What kind of queens do you have, Bob?
Well, you know, Cutic they sell all of the nukes to Man Lake and Better Bee and Daydant. All when you go on their website to buy their nukes, and they also do queens. So they're Italian VSH queens. So he actually showed me a video. I'm going to see if I can text him and have him text me the video where they were taking a frame out and ripped some drone brood open, and there was a varroa on one of the drone. The bees actually took that varroa off of that drone and ripped that mite apart. They tore it apart. So hopefully they have that same trait on mine, and help at least keep it in check a little bit.
Yeah, Sarah, we do need a little rain at least every couple of days to keep that nectar flowing good.
Yeah, it's
but too much of it can hurt us. It hurt us here last year. It was late July, beginning of August when I was pulling some of my honey because we had so much moisture they couldn't even get it dehydrated down and cap it off. And then with the excess rain, it pretty much just knocked our goldenrod out. We didn't have none.
It's going to be in the 80s and 90s here all week.
How much honey did you pull last year?
Me?
Yeah.
449 pounds.
Out of how many hives?
I had one hive that had overwintered. So I started last year with one hive and then 8 nukes.
Dang.
Hey,
man.
So how many hives?
Like I said, I'm hoping for a minimum of 1,000 this year.
So how many hives you got this year altogether?
I hit 30 today.
Okay.
I come out. Well, I went into winter last year with 24. I come out with 20. That I've made 2 splits. Give me 22, and then the 8 nukes that I picked up this morning.
Do you put them on pallets where you move them around, or you just got them on?
No, they just on 4x4 stands.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got I don't know how much I pulled last year. Does that surprise anybody? But
I'm OCD when it comes to that. I got a spreadsheet, digital scales to put my buckets on. I keep track of every detail.
So Lee and I have been doing this the same amount of time. We started at the same time. My first year, I got up to 15 colonies, and they all got wiped out by hive beetles. And I overwintered 4 nukes, and those 4 nukes turned into coming out of winter this year. I had 12 double and triple deep colonies, and then I split them and wrecked myself. And so I will get more honey this year than I did last year. So it's progress, but just hoping that, that my best honey production so far is coming out of that nuke that I installed 2 weeks ago. I don't ask me. It's on crack or something. They're just, or cocaine or something. They're like just killing it. That you saw the video where I had that nuke and it was like just layered up inside the Pro Nuke. That thing is just going insane right now. Exploding. So I've got all those brand new nukes have drawn out comb and are already in 1 or 2 honey supers each. And I've got a few colonies that don't have a super on it, but the majority of my colonies, my 10 frame colonies, have nukes on them, or supers on them right now. So we'll see. I'm just hoping for the best. That's it.
If you the better chance you got of honey is don't put them no new frames. Put them some already drawn comb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would have been able to do that had I not splitted the bitches out everywhere.
Well, pull it from some of the hives that are weak.
Jeez, why are you telling me this after I've done it like for 3 months? Where was it? You've been on the show like 4 times, Brad. Why didn't you tell me that like 3 months ago?
Pull you some drawn comb from some of your hives that are weak and put it with your stronger ones and let them put honey in it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. See, I knew there was a reason why we brought you in here. No, I'm just kidding.
I've put one of my new supers on so far this year that's just wax foundation, but the rest of it is already drawn comb, and I'm going to wait till after the flow. I'm going to pull a Cayman Reynolds. I'm going to put my new boxes on wax foundation and just put the 1-to-1 tool. Or 3/4 to 1 and just let them draw out comb for me.
Let them draw it out, because if you put them some new, you wasting half your honey just on making wax.
Yep.
Probably more than half. Probably more than half the honey, because it's going to take about 7 pounds of honey to draw out 1 pound of wax.
Yeah. So
you guys are not making me feel better right now. When you put them some comb,
when you put them some comb already, man, they fill that sucker up quick.
Yeah. Even if they do have to do a little repair to the comb, if you kind of messed a little up or not, they can repair that quick and start filling.
Yeah, we got the privet that's starting to bloom. I don't know if yours is blooming yet, Lee.
Oh yeah, it's blooming strong.
It's starting up here. You can see, because I got one of them hand decappers, And where I messed up the cone at, you can see the fresh new white wax where they got the comb all even again, and they fixing it. So I mean, they starting to put that privet in there. So
hey, Frank asked a question, guys, and it's scrolling up in the comments. You guys have any opinion on that? I see most people just use a chicken egg incubator.
I would get one with a because they got the kind that has the spring adjustment. I'd get one with at least a digital display where you can actually, because you don't want to get it too hot.
I've got a
in there also, just in case that doesn't, you're not getting the right reading on that incubator also.
Yeah.
I've got a Pro Series digital incubator model 4250 made by Farm Innovators. I got it at Tractor Supply. I think it was, when I bought it, I think it was about $100, but I think it's gone up since I bought it.
If possible, try to get one that has the humidity readout on it also.
Yeah, mine does the humidity
bowl
too.
of water in there to keep that humidity up so they don't dry out.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm going to jump off. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, Ricky, thank you.
Ricky.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, have a good night, Ricky.
And mine doubles.
Speaking of that, it's a
honey
little
warmer.
past my time too. I was supposed to be out here about 8:45, so I'm going to let y'all have fun the rest of the night. I got to go get my stuff knocked out and then get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Sleep or something.
Yeah,
just be
4
like
o'clock.
me and don't work. Just be like me and don't work no more.
I wish. I'm hoping another 2 or 3 years, and I'm going to retire from my regular stuff and go to my bees full time.
I don't know if I can show this. Probably not. But this is the inside of partially. Hold on, let me slide my camera. I'll mess everything up real quick for y'all. But it's got a
fan,
a heating element with a fan in it, so it circulates the air. And it's just made out of styrofoam.
Yeah, that's a good one there.
And it worked. You got this one
similar to that.
And it doubles as a nice honey warmer.
Decrystallizer, huh?
A decrystallizer. I decrystallized all my pint jars in there pretty good. They've sold out.
That's good.
So you're hopping out, man?
Yeah, I got to run. I got to go unload that vehicle, move a few things around, and I still hadn't even ate yet.
Nobody likes a quitter, Lee. Nobody likes a quitter.
Yeah, I'll be back either tomorrow night or Tuesday night, and Tuesday night hopefully with the new computer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One I can actually work with. So, but I hope everybody has a good night, and thank y'all. Y'all have fun.
All right, Lee.
All righty, Lee.
We're still here though. Don't leave. See now. Let's see how many people drop now that Lee's gone. See who's the real star of the show. No, I'm just kidding. So, guys,
the numbers are picking up.
I know, right? Now they're going up. We're going through the roof. All right, guys. So if you see people in here, a lot of people in this chat have YouTube channels. Please try to subscribe and follow as many as you can, because we're trying to get everybody some subscribers and boost them up. And I'll drop the link again since Lee's gone. We got plenty of room now. Oh, look who's here. Boost them up. And I'll drop the link again since Lee's gone. We got plenty of room now. You gotta mute your tab there, Charlie. We're getting the loop. Happens a lot. When you come in the chat, guys, you got to mute your YouTube channel because it'll loop it back around and makes it crazy. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, Mr. Charlie, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I was marking Queens all day yesterday, and some actually this morning. It rained this afternoon.
You need some more? I got some more.
What's that, Queens?
I've been going down to Cudic and buying Queens. And nobody here in town has them, so the local Blythewood Bee Company has been sending people to me to buy Queens. So I use the whole process of supply and demand. I buy a bulk enough to get a price break, and then charge what they would.
Think about that next year with nukes.
Yeah, but their price break on nukes is not that great unless you're getting a real.
I know that, but what I'm saying is do like my friend does and you put up a sign up list and you pay for them in advance and you set the price.
Right.
And you get, let's say, you need at least 250 of them, right?
Yeah. So it's 200.
Hillbilly Earl.
How y'all
200
doing?
Hey, Earl.
Hey.
Hey, Brad. Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey, Bob.
Now. See now. Hey, Bob.
See how I timed that?
He's not getting my notifications anymore. Are we breaking up? Just go ahead and tell me.
Never. No, I don't
Just
want to
say
break up.
It's not me. It's you.
No, it's not us. It's the space between us.
So you've
We're
been
good,
out,
brother.
You've been out marking queens, Charlie?
Yeah, I got some Cuda queens, and I got some queens when I was down to Georgia at Hardeman's, and some of the Cudics didn't make it or didn't accept, or for some reason, I don't know why.
They're kind of small queens. The ones I got, most of them are kind of smaller queens. Now, with that being said, the ones that I put in when I went personally and bought 10 for myself early in the year, man, they're fast. They're small, fast queens, and they will flat lay. They will lay up a frame.
They lay up and they get big and fat too after a while. But now I went through like all my honey hives 2 Saturdays ago and marked them all, and did some equalization of the brood frames and kind of checking out the honey, as far as, who's doing what and all that stuff, adding supers.
Right.
And then this week I went through all my nukes after I had sold about 14 of them, I think. And
I sold 2.
I had 14 orders, got them out. And so I'm going through them now and marked them all, and to see, kind of get the idea of where I'm at with my nukes as far as, what I need to be doing with them. And
Right.
Stuff. Other than that, that's about it. I don't know. I've been selling. Oh, the big news. I got a phone call from Rossman this past week. My 25-gallon Maxant bottling tank is going to finally come in.
Oh, you got the 25er?
Yeah. I had it ordered. I ordered it June 11th of last year.
Over a year?
Well, not quite a year.
Whoa.
Are they just back ordered or something? Or
Maxant, COVID, couldn't get to
Tell
see all that
Tell
stuff.
them you growed in size since then. You need the bigger one now. It's their fault. They got to update it.
Yeah, you need to upgrade for the same price.
Yeah, I'm bigger now. I need better than that now.
I got mine.
Won't get you nowhere.
It took me about a little over a week to get mine from.
what size is yours again, Bob?
I got the 18-gallon.
That's the size I want. What is that? The smallest they make?
No, they make a 13-gallon, I think.
Yeah, Maxant is 16 gallon is the small 16. One.
I got the license 18.
And I told the boy that I mentor, he actually went a couple weeks ago and got that one that Betterby had in stock. He bought.
Now, is that all water jacket?
Yeah.
Mine's not.
Huh?
I didn't get mine is
it's a heater in it.
It's a heater. It's got the heater element in it in the outside, but it's not water jacketed. But if you're only heating it to 80 degrees or 95 degrees, it shouldn't burn it. Wouldn't think.
I don't know. Like I say, I ordered it a long time ago and wanted it, and I just held out, and it finally come. I haven't seen it yet, but they billed me for it.
Does that water jacketed one come with a safety device for if you, let's say you leave it on and forget about it, that the water evaporates out?
I don't think so. I'm not sure about that.
Water and electricity, man, is a nightmare.
Well, it's a heater in there as an element, just like on a hot water heater, and it's got a thermostat thing where it cycles on and off and on and off.
Oh yeah, that part's pretty good to go. It's supplying the line of water to device and the electrical to the device, and then the safety that you have to do when installing it and putting it together. So you get a good cold night and you freeze and bust, and then it sprays all over the electricals. You know, you got to be thinking things can happen.
Well, I mean, it's going to be inside the house where the heat's at.
Well, what I was talking about, because I worked on steam boilers and boilers my whole career, and we always had safeties on the boilers to where when the water level dropped below a certain level, on your electric steam boilers, you didn't want to burn your element out without having water on it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was a flotation safety or just a water sensor safety that would kill the electrical current going to the heating element.
Right. Well, I don't think you're gonna. I mean, yes, you got a sight glass on this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see that's gonna. It's not gonna steam out. I guess you're not gonna get it
Yeah.
quite that hot.
Is it an open cell to where you just pour the water in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like
got in the front of it. There's like a cup
Yeah.
or a trough sticking out like that, and you pour all your what do you call it?
Distilled water.
Distilled water in there.
Yeah.
And then I know one guy, I think it was Lee, was telling that he put like a little rag in there just to keep any dirt out of there because it's open
Mhm.
Yeah.
and all that. But I don't know. I was on the fence to whether to get the small one or get the medium size one. And I talked to a friend of mine, Jason. He's got Bohemia Bees over on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. He's got one bigger than the 25. And he said, you instead of storing it in buckets, you store it all in there and then just keep it from crystallizing and stuff.
Mhm.
Now, as far,
Larimore Farms has that question right there. I just wanted to say the rule of thumb or the axiom in beekeeping in a nook is 3 brood, 2 food.
right.
Yep. And you don't have to put, like you're saying, from a mother colony. So I can take 3 frames of brood from 3 separate colonies. It doesn't have to all come from the same colony, which is kind of how I did my nukes. I didn't, I robbed 1 from 3 instead of 3 from 1.
Well, that's how a lot of people make their nukes. They just go through their bee yard and they keep pulling brood frames and
3 brood, 2 food. 3 brood, 2 food. 3 brood, 2 food. Just rock and roll.
They just keep pulling and fill up their nukes, and then they add their queens later.
Right.
Bobby
So
said,
it don't really matter what hives the brood frames come from.
Mm-mm.
this guy
Because
said,
you're not gonna be pulling that queen anyhow. So
Bobby said the guy that started him with bees sells 8 frame hives for 150. That's over wintered bees.
That's super cheap.
That is cheap.
That's a great, excellent price on some bees right there.
You
Excellent price.
should be like
Yeah, don't tell him what it should be. Come on, help us out.
Well,
Depends on where you're at. Depends on where you're at.
here the going rate's 200. When you buy, it's 200.
I mean that's what they sell packages for around here.
200?
A hive
No,
of bees,
150.
250s for a hive of bees around here.
Yeah.
Right.
Around my little brother bought some nukes around New Orleans. They sold them to him for 250, 275.
I can get a frame of bees for 10 frame of bees, for 150, but the Virginia inspector ain't inspected them, and they're not, you don't want to take them home to mama. You want to probably keep them in the yard by themselves for a couple of days before you bring them in, get them treated
Right.
down and fixed up. But yeah,
Well,
and that exists. That's
out
out
of-
there.
out of 8 frames, how much of it is actually brood? Still 2 to 3 frames, probably, because the outside 2 frames are probably food on both sides, right?
Yeah, you should. They should be
Not
getting
these. These are packed, man. These things are ready to split or add supers when you get them.
That's those are the kind of, well, that's what those nukes that I got that sat there too long that they were trying to get rid of.
Oh yeah, them was perfect. You got so blessed on that.
That's
You got way more than you paid for.
I got supers on them.
I would have split every one of them, bought some queens, stuck in them, resold them, made a fortune.
I did that on a couple. Well, not a fortune. Didn't make a killing, but I made $200.
I'm just saying if you sold them all, you know what I mean?
Each, right?
You had 4, turned it into 8.
and then sold 8.
Yeah. Then went back and got you some more. What you wanted.
Oh yeah, well if they had them, that was the thing. These were ones that people paid deposits on and then never came and got them.
It's April. Everybody's got them now. Should have 'em coming up.
Hi, off grid.
Houston got his from Greg Burns, Nature's Image Farm. He's got his on the video and got that cool box. And I'm pretty jealous because Houston's got a coffee cup now, and I don't. I don't like it.
You can order one.
Nope, I want mine give to me from Greg. That's how I want my cup.
Hey guys, y'all chat. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.
All right, do that, brother. Don't think we can't handle this.
Yeah. just direct
Look,
cuts.
the viewer count just went up.
Go ahead, Earl.
I was just saying the viewer count's going up.
Yeah,
I was being dumb, Charlie.
and I'm reading the comments here.
I can't see them.
Yep, that's people coming in from Hard Luck Survival Channel. So if you guys haven't checked them out, you can give
Did
them.
you see? Had a guy in here from Northern Ireland tonight, man. That was awesome.
He's still here. He was
Philip?
Philip Long.
Yeah,
He
man.
said nukes are over $300 in the UK.
That's insane, ain't it?
Well, you fly to the States, I'll sell them to you for $200 all
I
day,
think-
every day.
I think I found a way to get bees from the UK.
Put them in
just
your pocket and fly home with them.
We just get them to send them to Ian in Canada, and because they'll probably ship them to Canada, and then we'll get them from Canada down to here from Ian.
Well,
We can't
you just
send
go-
bees up there, but they'll send them to us.
You just go on vacation to Black Mountain Honey.
There you go.
You go to Wales. You go see him. You buy some of his F1 Buckfast queens.
And then
And
you walk
then-
through the X-ray and look like you're infested with honeybee queens.
You just put them in your shirt pocket with the little button on it. Right there
Yeah.
in JZ BZ cells, so they're plastic. They won't set off any alarms. Of course, piping. They'll probably wonder what that noise is.
Yeah.
What's that weird noise?
I'm like,
But yeah,
that's the music we make when we're together.
yeah. But yeah, it's been busy, man. I've been busy. I need to do more videos. Oh, and my stupid GoPro, the Max fell off the tripod and broke the little clip that it locks into the tripod with. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do on that.
Are you talking about the 2 ears?
No, so it's got this. You know how this little plastic thing is right here. It's got this little square on the bottom, and it's got a lever, and then it sits into this square, and you let the lever go, and it locks it in place. Well, the square is broken, so it doesn't hold into the holder anymore. So now I got to try to find one of them, or just get creative and
How many GoPros do you
something like
have?
this. 2.
Two. What kind are they? What?
I got the GoPro Max, and then I've got the GoPro Hero. This is a Hero 5. This is the one when I do the split video. This is the one that's mounted to my chest, and then the other one I use for the longer range one.
What is the Max? I never heard of that one. Is it just like the latest version, or?
No, actually, it's been out. The 10 is the latest one, but there was a it's bigger and it does 360 video as well. So just how you have it set up.
I got a 9.
You got the 9?
Well, they had the 10 out, but then they had 10 had problems with the software. And I was advised to get the 9 because of the issues with it. So I did, and it works fine. I don't think there's much difference between a 9 and 10 that I know of. Now, Sarah Happy Hive, she talks about taking notes. Now, what I do is 2 things. I've got those sticky notes that they stand up the weather and everything like that. I forget what they're called. Extreme sticky notes, I think. Anyway, I put them on top of the hives for queen marked or, eggs and a date, and that's it. Now, what I also do is I have a cell phone, and it's got a free app on there that you can get. It's called Color Notes. And if you're a smartphone, you can talk to it. It's called Color Note. And you can make all kinds of lists with it. And you can make a text. And I keep like the little pieces of paper you used to keep in your wallet. Now everything goes in here.
My problem is you go outside when it's sunny, you can't see your phone.
Well, I use my phone for more of a diary, and I'll go in there on this date, this is what I did. And I could go back a year from now and see what I've been doing.
Oh yeah, diaries work.
Huh?
Diaries work.
Yeah, and I can sit here and talk to it. I don't have to type it, just talk to it. Now,
when I was working, I kept a work journal, and it saved me a lot.
But I can do that.
Philip says he works in a sawmill as well, Charlie.
Yeah.
In Ireland.
Oh, in Ireland. Okay.
You know they got to manage those trees well, otherwise they would run out of trees to cut all these years of cutting wood from Ireland.
Look who it is. Dirt Rooster.
I don't reckon. I finally get to talk to Randy.
If he comes in.
He'll come in.
We got to ask the question when he gets here. The first question out of the mouth is, what are you eating tonight? What drive-thru you in?
I had him posted up ready to watch him when I was talking to you, and you was like, come on live.
Oh, he gave us a shout out when he's putting the peppermints on. He said like Hillbilly Earl is doing and Bob Walker at Walker B Ranch.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love Randy, don't y'all? I mean, you can't not love him.
Yeah,
he's big old teddy bear.
He's been commenting on my last 2 videos that I put out with the.
Are we bragging? He's bragging, ain't he?
You know, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, well I got a text from him today.
I'm jealous. I ain't got nothing from him.
And that's my fault,
you weird,
guys.
Dude. It's just because he ain't run across you, because that dude right there holds no. I don't think he holds no prejudices or no. Unless you're a smart aleck or something, he's good to you. He don't seem like he tolerates smart alecks too good, and I like that about him.
I tell you what, I love my GoPro for doing lives though when I'm in the bee yard.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can Sawmill Charlie, you should be able to do this with your 9. Go to the Quick app in your phone when you're in the bee yard, and it syncs to your GoPro, right? So you can see what and you can go live from your GoPro through your phone.
Brad, do you know about this voodoo?
Voodoo.
Yeah.
What are you talking
He's
about?
talking to his GoPro with his phone.
Yep. The Bluetooth.
I had no idea, man.
What's the Dollar General store for dinner tonight? What's at the Dollar General store? Isn't that just
that sounds like chips and a soda and maybe some beef jerky or a Slim Jim.
That's because you ain't run across their lasagna.
Well, he probably don't have a microwave in the truck.
I bet he does.
Some food at the dollar store now.
Yeah, you get some of that lasagna from the Dollar General. That's some. Your wife can trick you. She'd be like, "I made some good lasagna."
Hey, when I was truck driving, I used to buy for the truck stop those big burritos, the big fat ones. They just set it on the dash of the truck, and it would solar heat while I was driving.
I've done my share of that, Bob.
or beanie weenies.
Or take it and put it in aluminum foil and set it on the engine block for a couple of miles.
Yep.
and cook it right on up.
Yeah, but
chips and dip. I bet you got bean dip or queso jalapeno. Bet you it's queso jalapeno. What kind of dip did you buy, Randy?
So what have you been doing, Earl? How's your bees?
They're doing good. I don't have to do nothing to mine until this weekend, but I'm pretty excited. I'm going to pull a split this weekend off of them. Hopefully they've matured enough. We've had a pretty awesome flow on. I've been out looking around to see what's kicking in our area, and I've seen some basswood look like it was flowered out, and I've seen service berries. I've seen wild cherries, not black cherries.
You got?
Cherries have already come in. I only got 1 right now, brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had 10 last year, but I've done a lot of spreading out last year, and it didn't pay off doing so. It was you're too far out. You can't take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah.
And around here, if you drive anywhere, it's 30 minutes apart. So it just stretched me out too far, and I couldn't take care of them. So this one here, and I've always been afraid to keep them here, but I've got permission from, I've got 2 neighbors and both use those wheelchair things. And so I just was always worried too about them getting stung and stuff, but they're all aboard the bee movement and encourage me to get some bees up here. So I'm going to try to take that nook and bring it up here. And I'm going to start an apiary with 1 nook and no queen and see what I can do come wintertime, what I got by then. That ought to be able to prove if I can raise a bee or not, and then get them through winter and have them next year for everybody. I think that'd be a cool thing to do. So I'm gonna do that, like a start from scratch kind of thing.
I'm already. I mean, that's my thing now. I'm worried making it through winter. Just make them through winter, and we don't even have a hard winter.
Winter doesn't worry me anymore. Since I come across that fondant, winter doesn't worry me in the least anymore. But Michael Palmer and those guys up north, they don't have to do nothing to their fondant because they don't have hive beetles as bad because they got good long frozen winters. But if you go to Golden Barrel and try to get that fondant for the winter, it's almost impossible to buy. And I finally figured out why. That's exactly where Michael Palmer buys his. He admitted it to Fred Dunn. He's like, yeah, I get it from Golden Barrel. I'm like, you're the reason can't nobody buy the fondant in the winter. So many people are getting it. And that proves alone how to get your bees through winter. If people up north are just feeding them fondant. So by flattening it out and then taking crushed peppermint and spreading it on it, patting it down, flipping it over, doing the same thing. Then I roll it into a log, wrap it in a rapid round feeder, and I've got bees still eating right now what I gave them in last week of November, and it's pretty awesome. So that gives me the confidence to say, with their stores and what I can give them, I can definitely get them through winter as far as freezing. And with peppermint, we don't have to worry about the small hive beetles pestering them and bothering them. And just to be honest with you, you don't have to worry about tracheal mites or mites either because it drops them too pretty. And if you ever have a problem, one treatment usually gets rid of them and you don't see them no more. And I'm very, very excited about a new product that's out. Based on just the ingredients alone, I've been looking at it. It's called Apilife VAR. Apilife VAR. And the reason I'm excited about it is because they're finally putting thymol and menthol together. And I've always said you put thymol with peppermint and you got a super treatment. Well, they're doing it in Apilife VAR, and it's so strong you can't lay the wafers on plastic. It has to be wood. It'll melt the plastic.
And they're saying,
getting back to that fondant, what is the Golden Barrel?
That's
up north. It's a big old company that Charlie was just about to tell you about before I ran over him. They have all kinds of different bakery accessories.
Like a possum in the middle of the road.
It's bakery accessories and anything you could want from a bakery side of things. If you had a bakery, they would supply you with everything you need.
It's a wholesale place, sort of like.
Yeah, and smart people like Michael Palmer learned way before I did that you go to the Baker Quality Fondant, you get perfect fondant, no HMFs. It's not going to be deteriorating or anything. It's a sugar block, and that's what it's going to be until it's dissolved, thrown away, or whatever. It pretty much lasts.
That fondant that they.
Philip's throwing shade on me. He ain't been here one day. He's already throwing shade on me. That's all right.
I'm telling you what's the truth. That's that Irish blood.
I got broad shoulders, brother. It's all
That's
good.
that Irish blood, man. They're ready to fight.
Step away from the Guinness. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't try that Hive Alive fondant like a lot of people are doing.
That stuff's good, but it's expensive, man.
That's what I looked at that and I said, man, it's a little pricey for me. But
the biggest interest of having that down south that I thought was going to be, would it keep hive beetles away? But it doesn't. I've seen them have hive beetle issues the thing to do is do just exactly like Bob does or like I do, and it's either add the peppermint in the fondant itself or crush it up and put it all over it. I'm about to do a video on that piece
Well,
of fondant I got in a bait hive, or not fondant. It's pollen
is it
patty.
the same? Is it the same type of fondant like what you're talking about that's in that Hive Alive, or
Yeah, I
is
just make
there
my own.
softer?
The Golden Barrel, you can buy a 50-pound block. We
Yeah.
buy it for our club up here in Maryland. We buy the pallet, and I think the last
There's
time.
another reason you can't get it.
Yeah, well, the last time we got it was like $32 or $35 a block.
It wasn't that popular to start with, but like
Now,
some
do the-
reason or
do the
another, it blew
bees-
up last year.
Do
Now
the
you can't
bees
even
have
order
to have
direct.
cleansing flights for that fondant?
It's white fondant, man. It's pure sugar.
It's white fondant. There's no coloring. You don't want no coloring when you buy it.
No, it's not
And,
near
Yeah,
as
but do they still have to have cleansing flights?
not as
after
often
water?
as if you fed something like pollen patty or dark sugar. It's the darker
Okay.
substances that makes them have to go on a cleansing flight. The pure sugar is just like, it's not really much different than I would say the mountain camp method, except for your fondant has already went through a bit of inversion and is more readily acceptable with moisture to absorb into their body. There's no,
Mhm.
not like trying to get a dry sugar in their mouth. Obviously,
Yeah.
it works. You got Charlie's Bee Company doing it, Michael Palmer doing it for all of his hives, and numerous other people, which makes it impossible for us to get. So I had to learn how to make my own. And in so doing, I managed to be able to get a 23% protein, all my amino acids, trace minerals and vitamins, and probiotics.
I was just wondering if that was something special about that Hive Alive, because I mean, so many people using it, and then
It has
it being so
thymol in it and some minerals and ingredients from that seaweed that only washes up on the shores of Ireland. And yes, that seaweed is unique to Ireland, but the vitamins and nutrients in it are not unique to the rest of the world. We can add that too. But they've also added thymol to it. But it's still beetle bait just like anything else, unless you put some peppermint candy on it or in it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, as far as like the fondant goes, I use that, or my club members use it, where it's more of an emergency spring feeding. Around February,
Yeah.
when things are getting a little late, they throw. I don't particularly care for fondant because you got that big block. You got to take a big old knife and saw that stuff off in pieces.
Well, when I make my own, I have the ability to piece it as it's before it's hardened and before it gets thick, and
it's sticky and messy, and
it is.
I mean, but it is nice. I mean, you can slide it underneath an inner cover if you're using inner covers.
Yeah.
Our only problem down south is the hive beetle. People quit feeding fondant over the winter because of you come back and it's a big ball of hive beetles. You don't want that. And
well, I mean, they use it as a supplement if they feed sugar water in the fall.
Yeah. But I go so far as to add the protein and the nutrients and the amino acids and all that to my fondant. And so it's still good white fondant, but I ain't saying it won't cause them to go to the bathroom more, but I know it makes them healthy. I know they can get through winter on it with extra left over, and I know they still eating it right now.
So I mean, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah. When you look inside your round feeder, if it'll show it, and you look in here to see how many bees are in there, well, it's all you see is bees. It's just flooded with them. And they actually tunneled under it and ate it from the bottom up. So when I first took it off, I was like, they didn't eat it. But when I picked it up and looked at it, they had eaten it all the way up. It was just a little thin layer around the top, like a pie crust. And they're eating the far out of it. And I said, well, now, I'm not going to change that any.
What do you do? I know you got 30 or 40 some hives, don't you, Cajun?
I got 26, but I usually just make me a sugar block, this year I was trying to invert some sugar by cooking it on the stove, and but when I poured it in my trays, it hardened to a block, so it worked out better because it ended up being hard. I just put the hard blocks on top of the hive, and they loved it. They ate it.
Oh yeah, once it hardens, it's you can't produce HMFs, and that's the beauty of it. You don't in the inversion process. You got to be careful about HMFs and temperature, because overheating it'll start causing it to burn. The first thing you see in the burn is that browning or caramel that we love, but that's actually toxic to bees. Hydroxymethyl furfural, HMFs.
No, it didn't burn. It stayed clear, and when it hardened, it turned white. But
that's because you Cajuns are good cooks.
But I mean, they loved it. So
now DC, I do have a sugar shim making sugar bricks video, and basically what that is 10 pounds of sugar and a cup of water, and you can throw in a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there and just use a paint stir and mix it up in a couple minutes, and it'll get to the consistency. If you can take that sugar and just kind of pat it out like a snowball, that's right moisture content, and then you can either put it in any kind of a container to make a brick of some sort, or let's say a sheet pan that's an inch deep or so, inch and a half deep, and then score it before it dries and make it into square bricks and let it harden up in about 48 hours, something like that.
Yeah, if you score, you can break it into some perfect bricks.
Make it a
Sideline Beekeeper, he got a show on that. Craig Branch, Sideline Beekeeper's got a show on it. He makes a bunch of loaves of that sugar brick.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Dollar Tree and they sell those aluminum pans.
That's what he uses.
Yeah, about an inch and a half tall, and it's perfect. And I started making all my hive covers with a 3/4 inch rim, and I don't even use an inner cover no more. So them sugar bricks will fit perfect on the lid.
I'll tell you my only problem with just sugar as an alternative for food through the winter, and that's that sugar is just simply that. It's sugar. You got a disaccharide that has to be broken down into a monosaccharide, which is fructose and glucose, and that's all you have.
Yeah.
Honey should have, food in it. They should have pollen stores with protein. There's a lot missing in that, I think. So that's why in my fondant recipe, I up the protein and the vitamins and the amino acids.
Well, the only reason I ever put sugar bricks anyhow is if I don't have enough honey in the hive.
Yeah.
Like
insurance.
If
it'll get you by. It'll get you by.
Heavy, if they feel heavy, I don't even bother with it.
But they're still needing and wanting of nutrients and vitamins that they ain't got access to.
Yeah, but I'll even put them Man Lake makes that winter patty that has a little bit of pollen in it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I kind of make some of that stuff myself, and then
see you're putting the protein to them too.
Yeah, because I like them because down here we don't have hardly no winter either, and if they making bees, that's how I produced a lot of bees this year. Is just I kept them going through the winter because we had a hot winter.
We get equal doses of everything. Summer, winter, spring, fall.
In January, the hives were busting. So,
M&J Habitat
your hives look good.
Says up north, I use sugar block I make with Ultra B amino acid and Honey Bee Healthy.
Yeah,
I do. I will say Honey Bee Healthy is a part of my ingredients.
Yeah, I use
it.
Be Healthy also.
That's what turns my white fondant just a little bit yellow. Is the only thing that colors it at all is when I put the Honey Bee Healthy to it, and that tends to color a little bit. But it has good. It has lecithin in it. It's got sugar. It's got spearmint, and I like it. It is a good combination to have.
Yeah, when you add it to some sugar water during a dirt, you better.
Oh yeah, Robin's Own, ain't it?
While you mixing it.
Yeah, Might as well announce it over the live speaker.
Yeah.
We have sugar down here. Please come rob my hives.
Because when I'm mixing it up, I get inside of my shed and I'll close the door and mix it up. If we're in a real strong dirt, and because if I got the doors open, they smell it. They get in the sugar water in the mixer.
I got a porch that's got windows and screen. I can open up the windows and they'll flock to the screen, but somehow or another they managed to sneak in. I don't know. They got away.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get one or two, but
What kind of mixture do you have?
I just use it's a paint mixer on an old heavy duty drill that I got, and I just mix it in 5-gallon buckets.
And you're feeding sugar water in the dirt is what you're doing?
Yeah. And I got them hive top feeders, and I'll put it, because if I use the jars, the bees will even come around the jars and try to rob.
yeah.
But
It's like they can.
after I pull my supers off, I take just an empty super, put it on top with the inner cover, and put the hive top feeder on top of the inner cover, and put my lid on top of that, and that way it kind of locks out all the robbers from smelling it.
It's as if they can breathe the vapors and get the sugar out of it or something. They go to places I'm like, you cannot get sugar there, but there's just that tiny bit enough to make them want to.
Mm-hmm. So,
Well, I don't know. As far as Hive Alive, or Honeybee Healthy, I used to buy that stuff, but when I got over $100 and some a gallon,
You gotta make
I
your own.
said, that's it. I'm done with that. And
Well, I bought a gallon last year, and I'm still using it. So I probably got a little over a quarter of a gallon of it left, and that'll get me through another year.
if you'll go to Dr. or Frederick Dunn's channel, and he had a video, and I'm going to say it was probably 5 years ago, where he put out them little yellow Boardman feeders.
I watched it.
And he had the straight sugar, he had Honeybee Healthy, and he had Pro Health. Well, I've tried all that, and Pro Health, the bees hate it. And Honeybee Health, and the number one that was consumed first was just good old straight sugar water. And then the second one in line was Honeybee Healthy Lace sugar water, which I'll say they left maybe a quarter of that jar in the same amount of time.
I've seen that.
Let's
video.
face that, you got to also account that's his bees.
That
They're well fed on what he normally feeds them, and what he normally feeds them is possibly going to affect preference. So I will say that, that was good results in his bee yard.
But
I can't say my bees are the same as that, though.
When it comes to feeding bees, it should be in the fall, and maybe a little bit during the dearth. If there's around here, it's July, August is when the nectar dearth is. So I'll feed them a little bit.
Well, there's a flow on right now.
Just to
but
get
I'll
them
still feed sugar if they'll take it. But if they don't take it, I won't mess with them. But if they want it, I'll give it to them.
I don't never feed in the springtime.
I do.
Depends on it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to grow bees and make splits and make nukes?
Well, you got to understand also.
I just care about healthy bees. I'm not really trying.
Depending where you're at, though, when for us, January could be spring.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's in the 70s and they're starting to run out of food, I'll put out a feeder. I mean, I put it out today because I was trying to see if they would still hit the sugar. They didn't hit it at all. And
I'm an open feeder too. I like open feeding just because I simply like to watch them feed, and I like to control that open feeder to know that if I've got lazy neighbors, I can take care of their bees if they can't. I'll send them home with something good in their belly, and I'll fix them. They won't have to worry about it. I'll take care of them.
Well, the reason I put it out today was because I wanted to see if I put it on my nukes, if the nukes were going to get robbed, or if they wouldn't. So now I feel safe that I can go out there and put it on my nukes without them getting raped by my bigger colonies.
I constantly keep a peppermint tray out with a little sugar water in it, just to offer that defense mechanism if they need it. And they don't hit it as much when there's a flow on, but they still do hit it. That tells me something. They won't touch straight sugar water, but they'll hit the peppermint candy.
Well, it's the same thing as the pollen substitute. Our bees will hit it December and January, but as soon as that first bloom comes around, they won't. They act like it's acid.
They don't got what they need no more.
Yeah, they don't.
Some of yours got more.
They don't fly by it. They don't do anything.
Yeah,
That'd be like drinking Tang all winter, and then somebody slammed down a big old cup of orange juice in front of you.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for. It's just like you say, it's a substitute.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas a natural pollen has all the amino acids, all the different things that, they've already did science experiments that they have.
Yes.
They want a variety of different pollens in order to get the, proteins and whatever else out of that.
Same reason we eat a variety in our meals, that we got to get all the vitamins and nutrients that we need.
Mhm.
They got to have a variety of pollen and nectar to get the nutrients and vitamins that they need. And, you can get sources that, I mean, they're natural, but not natural in the way that you might think, but they're still available. And the bees can have a source of sugar and nutrients that they can't get anywhere else. Now that's the stuff you hear me calling bee crack sometimes, but it's they'll hit it. I don't care what kind of flow's on. If you mix it up fresh and set it out, they're on it for the first 2 days, and then after that, it kind of starts. If they've not already ate it all, it'll get a little funky, so I'll have to change it. But
So
first 2 days they will bomb it.
So just out of a question, how much of that bee crack do you put in a gallon of sugar water?
I've
1
been
to
mixing
1.
it a quart at a time. Is what I've been mixing is a quart at a time.
All right, well, there's 4 quarts in a gallon, so how
Well,
much you put in a quart?
so that would be 4 cups of
Of the
dried of the crack, yeah.
Mm.
And then that would be I would fill it up with sugar and then use just enough water to turn it into syrup.
All right.
And that would be what I would put in a Ziploc bag, poke 25 to 30 holes in it, and
Let them
when
go
they
to work.
quit in an open feeder system, and then when they quit feeding off of that in the evenings, the sugar seals over the toothpick holes. You can pick it up, move it around, do what you want to with it, shake it up, set it back down. But in the morning when they come back, they'll lick those holes back open and stick the proboscis in and suck it dry. It tells me that it has everything they need, or they wouldn't be coming to it with a
Right.
full flow on. It's a one-stop shop for every single nutrient that they could think of for making royal jelly, worker jelly, or wax.
Well, I don't know. Do you make any honey with your bees, or?
I wouldn't make no honey while I was feeding that. I would.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. You don't leave it out all.
That's for your
Just-
brood
just-
and for you making wax.
Oh, okay.
If you want to make wax and keep brood healthy, that's what you do. You feed that, and then they'll blow up on you because they
Yeah,
got
that's
one
the-
source
that's
of
the
getting
only time
everything they need.
That's the only time I'm really feeding anything is if I'm trying to build up a hive or something like that. Other
You
than
want to know
that,
what my crack is? I'll tell you guys. Go to the Tractor Supply store, walk over to the goat part place and look for the kids milk. It's made by Mana Pro. It's a milk replacer made from, guess what? Whey protein, soy protein, and brewer's yeast. And they add coconut oils and milk to it, and they add all kinds of vitamins, nutrients, amino acids. It even has probiotics, live probiotics. One of them I can't remember the initials to, but they're both inside and present in the bee gut, and it's just, which I probably kill it because I add lemon juice or vinegar to this mixture, and because I'm trying to make it invert the sugars and last longer. But after 2 days, that third and fourth day, you need to get it off because, if there's any left, most of the time I fed it, there's never any left.
mhm.
One time I've had to remove half a bag that got sour, but It rained for 2 days.
How does that hold up in the cell if they store it?
I don't know that they do store it. It seems like they just eat it. That, honest to goodness, it just seems like they eat it because you don't see it anywhere, but you know it's got to be somewhere. But I honestly believe that because of the nutrients and what's in it, that it is turned into food for themselves or used by the nurses to make royal jelly or worker jelly or by workers to make wax, because it has the ingredients to do either or, both, and all. It has the amount of fatty acids and fermentable alcohols that can produce wax, and it has all the amino acids and minerals and
here comes the
sweetness to produce the jelly. And you can read the ingredients when you go. I use Mana Pro, and Rich, I think he's adding 3 cups to a gallon now, but mine is be 4 cups to the gallon because I'm feeding it at a quarter time, and that's exactly what I put to dry cut in that Ziploc bag of 1 cup of Mana Pro powdered kids goat milk replacer. And when you mix it up in the back, once the solution's mixed for goats, they call it colostrum. If that tells you how much vitamins and nutrients is in it, that's colostrum replacer. So when I found my fondant recipe, the fondant called for cream and powdered milk. I was like, I'm taking that out of my recipe, throw it away. And in its place, I put the kids' goat milk replacer. And that's how I make my fondant. Well, to start making the shakes, all I done was add the fondant to just enough water to make it like a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1, and then I'd feed it to them. I started using those Ziploc bags when I seen Natalie doing it. And I know some people use the slit method where they just cut it. But the thing about the toothpick method is when they're done eating it, the sugar will kind of heal over the holes. You can pick it up, move it. You can even add more to it and fill it up and lay it back down and, whatever you want to do with it. And
Charlie looks like he's fading fast tonight.
Rain won't even beat it out. It just stays there.
Getting ready to leave out. What is that website that folks kind of rate your different websites and all that stuff, or the different
Are you talking about where Castle Grounds Apiary goes and
I got on him
today. YouTube ratings.
I got on him today because I said, "Where's the new video? I'm looking for stats." He says, "Oh, I'm working on it. It'll be out in a couple of days."
Yeah, you probably firmly planted yourself with the most videos.
I don't know what it counts though. Does it count just video uploads? Does it count live streams?
It does count. It counts the most video uploads. It counts the most watch, the most improvement. Yeah, he goes over all that.
Well, I don't know if we're improving, but we're putting them out.
Bob, what's it called? Castle what?
Castle Grounds Apiary. He does it, but he hadn't put one out yet for April.
You say how he did that? He shut me down by going straight to Bob. He could ask me. I would have told you, Charlie. I like to talk.
That's because you ran him over.
So does he just pick you up whether you see him, or do you have to tell him to track you?
No, I think he does all by beekeeping. He's got a spreadsheet that he uses, and I think you're on it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're on it, Charlie.
Am I?
Everybody's on it.
Okay.
It's like
he monitors small channels and big channels, and the most improvement in both.
Well, I think I'm doing pretty good. I've got 105 in the last, and I started 2 months ago.
You're good. So I watch your stuff.
Huh?
He just reviews who's putting out the most content and who's active and who's not active and who's gaining subscribers.
And he's lively about doing it. His talk is good. It makes you want to kind of watch because he makes it fun. He talks with some.
Oh, so he talks about the channel.
Yeah, he'll say number 1 is this, and he'll read all their stats and tell you all about it. He's pretty gifted at how he goes over and researches it, and then puts it all together, and then it's.
Yeah, but he doesn't like slam any channels or anything
like
that.
No.
He doesn't talk bad about it.
He just reads what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
He might give you a wow if you done good. I think one time he told me, "Wow, Earl, you done good." But
I was number 2 last month on the amount of content put out. Number 1 was Black Mountain Honey on the actual.
you can't beat that guy, dude.
I'm going to beat him this month.
That's where we need to go get our queen.
Every day.
Matter of fact, I know he watched that feed because he said that.
How can he watch anything much as he puts out?
He said it in a live Q&A that he had. He said, "Hey, Walker B Ranch, I see you're trying to beat me on the amount of amount of videos put out." I'm like,
there ain't no way.
He beat me last month by 1.
Over in England, he's working.
So, well,
He puts them out,
subs.
man.
The last 28 days, I've gained 114 subs. I've had 14,900 views, watch time of 2,300 hours.
I never look at that stuff.
It's on your.
I know where it's at. I just don't go to it.
Studio.
I don't want to see something depressing. I'm bipolar. I'll go to their house and be like, "Why don't you like my show?"
And
I'm a good guy.
it's
hey, how about that guy? How about that guy? Peaceful Minds or something that don't.
That dude is the most.
Bob hates him. I love him.
No, I don't hate him. He's just the most negative guy. I don't have time for negative.
Is
You
that
know why
why
he's negative? You know why he's negative?
I'll watch
he's
it
up in Michigan or someplace?
Yeah, he's in Michigan.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
watch
tell you why
it
he's negative.
slam people.
He's negative because he's constantly bombarded with chemicals from all those surrounding farmers that he has. And he and his wife are both sick from it. His bees are dying from it. And the government told him farmer was doing everything he could do and doing it by the book. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you first thing, there's no such thing as by the book farming. It don't exist. And them people should be paying that guy and helping him out, not only with his bees, but his family's health. And they're just constantly, and it's proven fact that that's what it is. And I knew as soon as I seen his bees, I said, that's poison. But then he got the paperwork back and they're like, you're right, it's poison.
Well,
He's like, well, what about some compensation? And they're like, no, farmers doing everything legal.
I can understand him being upset about the farmers and stuff like that, but why is he so mean to other beekeepers?
He's saying to everybody that, look at me, they're killing me and I'm still making bees. You all just don't know that they're chemical poisoning you. He's trying to raise awareness.
He says he's
how
the
many
best.
people actually bring their hives inside their house? I mean, that's a little bit wacko.
Yeah.
Dude, he might be a little out there, but I believe he's really trying. He's obviously a little bit on the psychotic edge, but so am I. So I kind of can get him a little bit. No, no, he's David Durga. I'm Casey Dooley.
I can't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say his name.
But I can't. I mean, I watch his videos. I mean, he's got more subs than all of us combined. So
I'm the guy that calls him, and he tells you somebody calls him and he talks to him. That's me.
I was gonna comment, but he turns off all the comments. You can't tell him anything.
No,
It's
the
like
only
he
way you
likes
can
to-
comment to him is if you
He
do
likes
what
to-
I do. You learn
he
his
likes to
identity,
He
learn
likes to
where he works.
criticize, but he don't like to be criticized.
So I leave him work messages on his work phone.
He gives that poor guy from Vino Farms.
Yeah. Well, Vino Farms gives him hell too if you watch him back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Vino Farms is like, and I don't have to pack my hives in and out of my house.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't see that.
Well, you know what though, with those, I love watching Jim at Vino Farms, but to be honest with you,
I don't. I like what he's doing, but I don't like listening to him talk about it.
Well, the thing that gets me is, and there's a lot of people I could throw into this category, is that they really don't put out beekeeping videos anymore.
Well, let's face it, Vino means wine in Spanish. He's a wine farmer. He's got some grapes he's growing.
Right.
He's getting all drunk, coming up with some cool ideas. They don't work. He gets another bottle and figures it out.
Well,
3 bottles later, he comes up with, I figured it all out. 2 videos later, except for this one thing. But I figured it out now.
Yeah,
now I know everything. So
Well-
that's why I get, he can't come at me like that because nobody's perfect. Nobody knows everything, and everybody's got a lot to learn.
Has the guy from Peaceful Minds ever showed his face, or because
No.
No, you never see his face.
David. His name's
Hillbilly.
David.
Hillbilly, is that really you?
What are you trying to say? That I might be Peaceful Mind? No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cuss like him, talk like him.
Yeah, with the other I watch this stuff. I mean, but you'll hear him and he says, that's why all my bees are surviving. And then the next video is, I had a couple, oh, this is a really small colony, so I merged it with another colony. Well, that means that colony. Yeah, then he'll say that's not a loss. Well, yeah, it is a loss. The reason you merged it because you knew it was going to die.
I don't want to make fun of him. That dude's suffering greatly, and I wish I could help him in some way. I do, but where he lives sucks. Obviously, he just needs to move. Plain and simple. There's just some places you can't beekeep, and beside a bunch of people spraying poison, it's probably one of them.
Well, does he have any evidence of the farmers? I mean, I have not seen.
Yeah, he shows paperwork.
Where he's
government paperwork from the U. Yeah, government tested. Inspector came to his house. Yes, Mr. David. I almost said his name. I can say his name. He showed his name. I just ain't gonna say his address or none of that stuff. Where he's exactly. His name's David Durga, and they're like, David Durga, you're exactly right. Everything is just as you say it is, but the farmer's doing everything legal. So, more or less telling him, batten down the hatches and block yourself from the south wind because the northern farmer is going to be doing it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as far as I know, I think his wife has cancer, and he's having issues. His family's having issues, and they're finding out that a lot of their issues is due to these neonicotinoids that's being sprayed. And if you ever see a bee die from poison, you'll know it. It looks just exactly like what he shows. I went out one morning and saw my bees were dying, acting the same way. First thing I done was started doing circles. And I found a neighbor with a good-sized backyard garden. They had used 7 dust. Well, when I told them about it, they went out there with 5-gallon buckets and water hose and washed it all off. Like somebody flipped a switch, those bees just quit dying and started going back to normal.
Well, that abscond that I did this week, when they would come out, they were just dying in the floor.
Yeah, they twitching on their backs. They fall on their backs and start twitching. You say, oh, that's poison.
Yep.
And somebody else will be like, well, they probably had a virus, Israeli acute. You're stupid, so we're going to fool you with some crap. But what it boils down to is he's right. His bees are being poisoned. We were being poisoned, and we're just eating it. And we're living in better environments. I know I am. There's no farming around here. If it is, it's very low scale. Might be some hay or something getting cut, but everything's woods around me. We've got to worry about the highways, the power lines, and the gas companies. They all use poisons, neonicotinoids. But there's a website in Virginia, and they tell you when that's going to happen. If you're a part of that website, you always know when roads are being sprayed or power lines are being sprayed. So you got to monitor it.
All right.
But yeah, they're more or less saying we're going to poison everything, and you're just going to deal with it. His only hope's to move.
We still got 27 people that hung out with us all this time.
They like his hillbilly rattling off the mouth, I guess.
3 hours in. But
I'll shut up, and give Charlie time to talk because he don't admit it, but he likes to talk as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm just about ready to take. I gotta get off of here pretty soon.
I love your stuff, Charlie. I like watching you, buddy. I like listening to you.
Yeah.
You don't give away something unless you're for sure about what you're saying, and I like that.
Well, I mean, the last couple of videos has been my trip to Georgia. A lot of folks, some of the comments, they didn't realize what it takes to, going through the grafting and learning, all the steps about, raising
Yes,
queens
sir.
and stuff like that.
I asked these other guys the other night. Was you here when I asked why don't nobody ever use a black light during grafting?
No.
Well,
Why?
wouldn't that light up? I mean, wouldn't that light up all the
Make the eggs bigger. You can
well, they
see them
would-
better with a
They
black
would
light,
show out.
like lint on blue jeans.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just a thought. I wondered about it. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's tried it.
I guess black light would what? It reflects off the white.
Yeah. And the comb's usually always a little bit dirtier from the well, I don't want to call it a web, but
For them walking on it.
the silk that they spin, but should be easy to see down in. I've never tried it, so I don't know. Somebody do some grafting with a black light and let us know.
Right? Yeah, let us know for sure. All right, guys. So how about we call it here at 11:17? What do y'all feel about that?
That's
That's
fine.
good with me.
Charlie looks like he's falling out over there.
Yeah, well, I bet it's been midnight every night this last several weeks.
Well, I tricked y'all. I didn't take my nighttime crazy meds. Whoop, whoop, I can go all night.
I gotta live. I gotta work too. So
I'm going to do that.
I'll catch y'all later.
All right.
Have a good day. Be safe tomorrow, Charlie. God bless.
Good night.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on tonight, Mr. Bob. Good to see
No
you, Mr.
problem,
Brad.
man. We love having all you guys on. I just before everybody, and we're down to like 5 people, I think it makes it a good time to call it while we still got viewers. But if you guys are interested in working with that co-op that I'm trying to formulate, please email me at rwalker2016@gmail.com and just put in the subject line co-op, and we'll form a list so we can start like doing update emails and see what we can get done.
Let's all
And,
beekeep a little cheaper and help each other out.
That's it. And,
Keep the
and
bees
then
alive.
network to sell this honey for local, people can get source local honey in your area, and it
lot of
might as
people
well
just-
be as you.
Some people might want some house Cajun honey or some hillbilly Appalachian honey or some South Carolina. We can make it happen.
Hey, you could use Old Bay honey, Old Bay spice in your honey. That's what they use for them crawfish boils, right? Old Bay.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
All different stuff.
You want to know how to cook some squirrel?
You put Old Bay in it.
Get some Old Bay.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you Tuesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central for the Tuesday night live chat.
As always, God bless y'all and God bless your bees.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.